Gio, you need to put on some new socks.
Yeah. It's pretty. You guys want to see my socks?
That is.
Should I show them?
No, but
It's
that,
really
that,
bad.
that's
4 episodes
really
in, we're showing
concerning.
feet.
It's really bad.
That's really concerning.
If you guys want to see my socks, just comment down below. I'll show you guys next week.
I could see.
Don't say nothing. Don't give it away.
His whole foot.
do you have like a gaping hole in your sock?
No, multiple.
Oh my god.
There's
Yeah,
no
pretty bad,
there's
pretty
no
bad.
sock left to be walked on.
What is it then? What do you call this?
The fabric is gone. That's just like the beginning of when they
the
start
beginning.
sewing the sock.
It's pretty bad.
There's
Bro, it's
nothing left.
It's like James Harden when he puts on a belt.
There's not.
Oof.
That looks like fucking Harden's hairline. No,
That
not
is
Harden.
wild.
Not Harden's hairline.
That is
I wouldn't
wild.
say that.
No,
Harden's
looks more
hairline's
like-
actually
no,
pretty
Harden more like KD or LeBron's.
good. I mean, their hair is just non-existent.
Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
The
it looks like
sock is
KD.
non-existent.
It looks like KD's hair
Yeah.
up close. That's what it looks like. If you guys wanted to
Let's
know.
get back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, no, what's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is episode number 4 now of the Floor Spacer podcast. Tyler, alongside with Antoine and Gio, coming at you from our studio once again.
In my basement.
Yeah, well, we're not in the basement.
Yes, that's
we're on the first
not
floor.
in the basement.
No, but yeah, no, it's been a pretty interesting week. Obviously, it's playoff time still, so a lot of hectic shit going on around the association. But how are you, lovely gentlemen, doing today on this fine evening?
Doing well. We're a little exhausted because we're starting this around 9:00.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EST.
Yeah.
But we're getting it done for you guys because we care and we want to bring our content to you guys, no matter how late we are up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this isn't even the latest we've been filming.
No,
so
that is correct.
What's the latest we've ever?
We were here till 11:30. I think.
Oh,
we were here till like 12.
Wow.
No, I think it
weeks
was
ago.
12, yeah.
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 That's when everything didn't go well.
That's when-
the audio and the video. No, something happened.
No, it was the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because-
that's because the playoff games ended late.
right.
Right.
No,
'cause-
the regular season ended late.
Yeah, it was episode 2. It was the one
Yes.
that corrupted.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was our favorite episode too.
It was our
That
favorite
was.
episode, and all just no. Wait, was it the first? It was the
I don't
first.
know.
Yeah.
It
don't
had to
even
be
know.
the first. Yeah.
I'm too tired to really.
It
know.
was the
Yeah.
first because we tried recording the first episode the week prior, and everything went to
Right.
crap. So
Yes.
it was the first.
Yes, it was.
I remember that night vividly because I came home with the worst migraine like of all time because I decided to record without my glasses, and I have 2 computer screens right here. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely a week to forget. But obviously, episode 2, the content was amazing. It just obviously.
Yeah. We weren't gonna refilm something that we had genuine like reactions to, and then
Yeah.
we're just gonna be like saying the same thing over with not the same reaction. So that's
Right.
why we.
I also just don't think we had the time.
No, that
Yeah.
too.
Like-
I don't think we were gonna do 2 episodes in a day.
Yeah.
Right, it would have been tough. It would have been difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
But-
quality of audio wasn't up to our standard.
Yeah.
We want to provide you guys with the best sounding content possible, and that wasn't up to our standard. So
No.
had to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's up. It's on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
on Spotify. We're on Spotify now. We're officially
Yes.
back. Episodes 1 and 2 at the time of recording are live. Episode 3 drops tomorrow, but by the time this episode comes out, everything will be good. We'll be up to date with that. We're still trying to figure out Apple Podcasts. The RSS stuff is a little weird. We may have to just get our RSS feed from a different site because Spotify's is not showing.
Yeah.
But if anyone knows anything about Apple Podcast and anything of that nature, let us know in the comments
Yes.
below. Obviously, our socials are on the screen. You can just DM us if you need to.
Yes.
But yeah, if you guys are on YouTube, hello, you can see our beautiful faces. Be sure to like and subscribe if you guys are new. We upload shorts daily. Every pod goes out Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We are on the East Coast. If you are on Spotify, make sure to give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out a lot. Really, it's the best way to support us. Everything's obviously, it's all free. It all takes 2-3 seconds to do. And obviously just check out all our socials at Floor Spacer Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We upload daily on there. And then just obviously the Floor Spacer podcast is on Spotify and eventually Apple Podcast. And then our personal socials are down below.
Yep.
So we do have a little bit to get into today. It's kind of like in between jam-packed and not a lot. Obviously, we'll touch on some things that happened around the league. I know the Lakers, we'll talk about them in a minute. But we'll kind of recap the 3 first-round series that were close, essentially, because when we recorded last week's episode, most of them were over. They were like 3-0, 3-1. So we'll just kind of ignore those because we knew what the results would be, and no one blew any leads. Then we'll obviously give you guys our official second-round predictions. Obviously, a lot of the games will have started by the time this goes out, but we're not, there's nothing we can do about it. Sundays are the only days we can record. And then we'll get into every team's X-Factor for the rest of the playoffs and who's going to make a difference. And if they don't show up, that's probably why their team goes to Cancun.
Yeah.
So anything to say before we get right into things?
Let's roll.
Alrighty. We were going to originally get straight into the first round series, but the Lakers decided to Laker, and they just did the most overdramatic shit as per usual. That's kind of what Lakers and Lakers fans are. You know, something will happen during, let's just say it's a Nuggets-Nets game, and Lakers fans will try and make it about them, right? That's kind of like the typical thing. But the Laker fans really did nothing wrong here over the past couple of days. It's more of the franchise. We all kind of knew this was coming. They fired head coach Darvin Ham after only 2 seasons, had an above 500 record, and made it to the Western Conference Finals. Only lost to one team in the Denver Nuggets twice. And not only that, they fired the entire coaching staff, all the assistant coaches, everyone involved with Darvin Ham, whether they were there before or after he got here, are out the door. They're in the fun employment line. I'll go to you, Gio, since you used to be a Lakers fan because of wild Russell Westbrook used to play there.
Yeah.
I know you weren't too fond with Darvin Ham.
Yeah.
But I feel like this was a bit harsh. I need your thoughts on just Darvin Ham first.
Well, never really liked Darvin Ham, as I said previously. Never was a huge fan of him, but I just feel like this wasn't his fault. The reason why they lost the series, it wasn't his fault. It's the way the team was constructed, I think. It's more so on the players that were on the court. They just couldn't match up with the Nuggets. And it's nothing you can do as a head coach. You can't get out there and play for the team. All you can do is coach from the sideline. So I don't think it's on Darvin Ham. I think he's a pretty decent coach, actually. And I think he actually overachieved last year. And this year, you happen to run into the Nuggets first round, so unfortunate. But yeah, what do you think?
I think the one element that we're all coming back to with the teams that are eliminated now, whether it be the Suns, the Lakers now, I don't think the Clippers as much, but I think this is a front office ownership issue. Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, I think a lot of it, relies on Pelinka for how he constructed this team. I think Darvin Ham accomplished above standards and above expectations last year. This year, obviously, the way the dominoes fell to him was the Nuggets, and that was it. If they would have lost that first playing game, they would have played
Sacramento because they beat the Warriors. And if they would have won that game, they go to OKC, who they were 3-1 against this year.
Yeah.
And it's a more young and experienced team compared to the Nuggets, who are battle tested.
It's a big risk if they lose that first game and then you get Sacramento. Who knows what's going to happen in just one game. So, but I think OKC, they probably would have had a better shot of getting that series. But you can't rely on the what-ifs. They wanted that game. They wanted Denver, and that's what they got.
Right.
But
you can't mess around with one-offs.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You cannot.
No.
Plus, it looks bad if you do, because if you're trying to win the finals, more than likely you have to play the Nuggets at some point, or even if you play the Timberwolves or whoever, they probably got through the Nuggets anyways, so they're good enough as it is. Yeah. But I'm a little perplexed in the sense of the decision by the team, because obviously fans will always go at the head coach. Obviously, if you lose to a team 11 times out of the last 12, that's a problem. I understand it. But, to me, outside of the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, I think the Lakers had a fair shot against anyone in the West.
Yeah.
I think with LeBron in the playoffs in the first round, when he's fully rested, it was possible. And I think the one glaring thing with Darvin Ham that I noticed that kind of leads me to believe that it was a harsh decision firing him. You notice a lot throughout the NBA over the past couple of years. When a coach gets fired, that you've completely lost the team, you lose the locker room. Even the Nets this year, they were not playing for Jacque Vaughn. They were going out there giving half-ass efforts, and you've seen it across the board everywhere. Even the Suns in Game 4 with Frank Vogel. Not that it's Frank Vogel's fault. That's a totally different rabbit hole we can go down that we've already talked about. But when did you see this Laker team throw in the towel? When did you see them give up? To me, they were in every game with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't think
that was true.
They won one of those games, and you never saw a lack of effort. Right. You always saw the urgency, the desperation, and look, could this be a LeBron problem? Could this be a Rob Pelinka problem, a Genie Bus problem? Who the fuck knows? Like, we don't know. Do we really care? Not really. But at the same time, it's like coaches get fired for way sort of worse than this.
Yeah.
Coaches get extended for like for worse than this. Like, the Nets gave Jacques Vaughn an extension after getting swept by the Sixers. So like, it's a little perplexing. I understand the reasonings as to why they could consider it, but the fact that they went in and just did it is a little bit strange.
Yeah, it feels like they said it was going to happen within the week. It seems like their mind was set to me that after that loss, he was gone. They didn't even have time to just think about it a few days, and that was it. And going back to Gio saying it's a player issue, I know Darvin Ham also made a comment to the media. Either it was after the game or after he got fired, but he called out one of the starters.
AD, right?
First, I don't know if it was AD, but
I think he called out AD.
He was saying, I really can't do much when one of your starters is shitting the bed for 6 games straight.
Well, he wasn't talking about AD. I think he was talking about D'Lo.
D'Lo.
But
I don't think it was AD at all.
After game 2, when the Nuggets made the 20-point comeback, Anthony Davis said there's times where we don't know what we're doing.
Interesting.
And a lot of Lakers brass did not like that. Obviously, you're going to side with AD because AD's a superstar. He's an all-star. But I remember Stephen A. had said on NBA Today or NBA Countdown, one of the 2 shows, that once he said that, he knew Darvin Ham was done.
Wow.
Regardless of what happened. They could have won the series and lost in the second round. I still think he would have gone.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you got.
Can I play devil's advocate here?
I'm ready to debate.
So, I'm going to argue that Darvin Ham should have got fired. Okay, so they were in the game most of the games, right? They were like, either leading. Actually, they led like most of the games, right?
They were leading
for
for
100-something minutes compared to 41 minutes.
Yes.
There were
Something
also
like
reports, I'm sorry to cut you off, that after that, the leading game 2 that they gave up was 20+. That's when they knew Ham was gone.
Yeah, that's when AD said the thing after the game. That was in the post-game press conference. Yeah.
That's when the Lakers front office said, he's gone.
Right. But go ahead, Gio.
Yeah, so basically, the Lakers were leading most of the series. We know that. We saw a stat that said like 140-something minutes compared to 41 minutes of the Lakers leading against the Nuggets.
Right.
But when it comes to coaching, when it comes to the close games in the fourth quarter, that's when your coach shines the most. I think so.
Right.
Because that's when coaching in details, play calls get really serious down to the wire. And so maybe it was in those situations where Darvin Ham could not handle the situation is the reason why they fired him. They're like, okay, so he's good, but he's not going to bring us over the top. He's not going to get us a championship because he folded in those moments when we needed him to rise.
Right.
So maybe that was their logic.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Let's say the Nuggets don't exist, right? Last year, I think they get to the NBA Finals if they did not have to play the Nuggets, right? I think if they played Phoenix, I think they easily handle them. And then you go to the Finals against Miami, which is a team I think they could have beat, right? 2 play-in teams that were counted out and were led by 2 playoff risers, Jimmy Butler and LeBron James. So there's always that. And then this year, I think, like I said, outside of Denver and Minnesota, I think they probably could have beaten the other teams. And the fact that they fired him after that short of a sample size, when you've already overachieved, you were the first and second. You were one of the first 2 teams from the play-in to the conference finals. We don't know how often that's going to happen. As it is, none of the play-in teams got out of the first round this year. So while I understand you struggled against the Nuggets, that team could become a potential dynasty. So at the end of the day, I don't really know if there was much more he could have done.
Right.
I think there were things he could have tightened up on. But at the end of the day, your players were going to war for you. They weren't giving up. He still had the locker room.
Were they going to war for him or were they going to war for LeBron? Let's be honest.
We don't know. That's the thing.
I think they're going to war for LeBron.
Certain players may have different opinions. Like someone like AD was definitely playing for Bron.
Yeah.
Someone like D'Lo was playing for Darvin Ham.
You think so?
Yes, because Darvin Ham backed him.
Okay.
So if a coach backs you, you're going to back your coach.
But D'Lo did say like he didn't care what Darvin Ham had to say. He knows that he's confident whether or not.
That's just
Darvin
a player
Ham,
being confident in himself.
Okay.
Because if you lose confidence, then you're screwed.
True.
You need to have confidence in yourself. I think Darvin Ham's just the extra oomph.
Gotcha.
So, and look, do I think Darvin Ham could have led the Lakers to a championship last year during the circumstances? Maybe if the Nuggets weren't there. but I don't think he could have led them to a championship, which I could understand why they fired him. But you at least had to give him one more chance.
You think so?
Yes,
But with LeBron descending, right?
Right.
You think there's enough time to give him one more chance, or do you have to grab Tyronn Lue, or you have to go for somebody else?
Right. I mean, we think LeBron's going to come back, but we don't know.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a little bit perplexing. And I do think Darvin Ham will be a prominent name in coaching vacancies going forward. He should be.
Yeah.
If not, he'll be probably an assistant coach somewhere in the league. He's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think another question we're going to see if Ham does get a job somewhere, whether Charlotte, Cleveland, they move on from their coach, but now they advanced any other position, and he succeeds there fairly well. We could go back to the combo saying, is this really Darvin's Ham, his problem in LA, or is it the players and the front office? I think we'll have that answer if he does get another job somewhere else.
I hope he goes somewhere small market.
Yeah,
I think he's a good mind. I think they didn't give him enough to go out there. I think the team they put on the court this year was not balanced at all with what they were trying to do. They needed, I think D'Lo, of course, needs to go. I was saying that. Reeves is still there. They're going to have some things to do in the offseason to let the new coach coming in know that we're giving you time with this to go. I'm sorry, I just hear.
No, it's okay. But
I think they need whatever coach comes in,
right.
Whether it's a veteran, new guy. JJ Redick's a hot name out there. First coaching gig if he gets the Lakers, big task. That does happen. They're gonna have to give him time and give him the players that he wants on that team and have the input. That's I think how he's gonna succeed. You got to give him some say in things.
I think the Lakers can't win with LeBron and AD as their core anymore. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you guys a question. I want to ask, like, how much influence or how much say did LeBron James have in this firing of Darvin Ham?
I think.
How much say?
I think he had something to do with.
I think a fair amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're obviously gonna say it's not, but we all know the GM is a thing, right? We know Rob Pelinka does his job, but we know LeBron has equity in that.
For sure.
No matter what team he's on, even though LeBron technically is not, he might not even be on the Lakers next year, he still has a say in everything. And, I'm not saying he was the one that initiated it, but they definitely went to him.
They brought it to him for sure.
And he probably gave him the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And at the end of the day, what the GM wants, the GM's going to get. And that's kind of the thing with LeBron.
Yeah.
He'll go to a team and he'll enforce his will on things, and when it's all broken, off he goes.
Yeah.
And they're just in purgatory for the next 5-6 years. So that's why the Heat are the only team that have rebounded, really, because Pat Riley put his foot down. And he didn't fire Eric Spoelstra when LeBron wanted him gone. So
yeah, which is, sticking by your guy for so long.
Exactly.
Spoelstra's, would be a name I would like to see outside of Miami.
But have they won another championship?
I don't.
I want him to still be in Miami, but they got the two finals farther than.
But have they won them?
Yeah.
If they kept LeBron, would they have won again? I think so.
Well, it depends on who else was there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at LeBron, they played LeBron in the first finals, and they played Jokic in the second finals. So, two very difficult opponents to get past in the playoffs. But yeah, we wish Darvin Ham the best.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get hired. Same thing with the rest of the Lakers assistant coaches.
Yeah.
They're freed from all scapegoating. So
yeah.
Anything else on this story?
No. I think when the offseason comes, we'll know who's going in, and then whether the player building goes on with LeBron, whoever's going to be there, and we'll have more clarity on that come once the season ends.
For sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. So now that we got that out of the way, we're done with our Laker talk until further notice. I'm done talking about that team. But obviously, last episode, which you guys should definitely check out, we kind of took a deep dive into most of the first round series. Albeit it wasn't the most entertaining first round. Unfortunately, there was only one Game 7, but there were 3 series that were not over. Basically, because no one came back by the time, we recorded that. I just had a brain fart. I'm so sorry. But yeah, we're just going to talk about the 3 series that actually wound up playing out to somewhat of an excitement. And we'll just kind of quickly touch on them briefly, not as long as we usually would like last week, but we'll kind of give you guys our general thoughts on just those series as a whole. So I think we'll just start off, we'll go in reverse chronological order. We'll go off with the one that we just watched a few hours ago, which was Game 7, the only Game 7 of the first round and of these playoffs so far, between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. The home team won every single game in this series. Not something you see very often. Typically, one home team will lose one. But, the Cavs won this one in 7 games. They came back down like 15 or 20 today. It was a really up and down series where just it would be blowouts in the second or third quarter. I mean, I think the Magic today scored 15 points in the third quarter. The Cavs just scored under 20 in like 9 quarters in this series. It was nuts. So I'll go over to you, Antoine. Just your general thoughts on this series as a whole now that it's over in the most boring 7-game series ever.
This was probably the last series I thought would go to 7 games. I did see it as being one of the most interesting ones with a young Magic team and a Cavs team that's kind of been there, kind of been out. I think today the better team won, which was the Cavs. Magic had a fantastic first, and then it just completely fell. Mitchell went off. Strus was knocking down threes left and right. Mobley had some even without Jared Allen as well. Let's not forget.
He's been out since what, Game 4?
Yeah, without the Magic had an advantage without the best player on that team the whole series.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Yeah, without Jared Allen, Mobley's there, but Mobley's not.
You don't think Mitchell's the best player on the team?
Mitchell's
but in the series it was Jared Allen.
Okay,
he was the only one that really showed up those first few games. Donovan Mitchell took a couple games to kind of get himself going, but Donovan Mitchell is the best player. And let's not throw shade at Evan Mobley. I understand he has holes in his game, but he had more blocks in the first round than I think the Nuggets and the Timberwolves not combined, but each.
I just saw that stat. I think he had 11.
Yeah, he had 21 blocks that
21.
entire series.
Yeah, he's a beast on defense.
Yeah. I knew it ended with 1. It was 21 or 11. 21. I saw it on StatMuse.
Yeah.
I was scrolling first a little bit. The only worry from today was Darius Garland. He's been kind of just not been that guy for them. I know they signed him to that Supermax a few years ago, correct? Was it a year or 2 ago, or is it?
Honestly, the whole contract stuff is so confusing. It's hard to keep up with all 30 teams. But all I know is that the Cavs kind of remind me of the Hawks right now, where both their their backcourt. I don't know how stern they are on keeping all of them.
Yeah, I think the role players they have of the bench. Okoro is doing good today. Levert.
I miss him so much.
Nice, good veteran.
I miss him so
Magic. Another case of, I guess, an OKC type of young rebuilding team that's been doing this for a little while now with their draft picks. They just haven't, I guess, hit as well. Besides Paolo, of course. Paolo is their number 1 guy.
I don't think they're rebuilding.
They're in a totally.
They're ascending.
Well, they were,
but now they are.
Okay.
They're in a much different spot than OKC because I mean this is Paolo's second year. SGA is 25, 26, and he also was traded.
Yeah.
But I mean the Thunder were tanking. They got Chet second overall. They were able to get Kason Wallace this year.
Yeah.
So
J-Dub was a good
late
pick.
Yeah. So I think the two situations are I understand similar situations in terms of where they are, but two totally different processes.
Yeah. I think a lot of their guys they have there in Orlando, I think they have a really heavy guard room. I think they got to get rid of some of those guys. I think the ones that stay are Suggs. I think Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony kind of just let.
I think they might keep Cole Anthony over Suggs.
We have Anthony Black.
Well, he's the guy for the future.
Yeah, and then you have, of course, Wagner, Banchero stay. I think they need that center and they need some veteran leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no veterans there that really can, shoot. I think a name I've been hearing was Clay. They need some shooting guards and some shooting. Clay could be a good veteran to go there. It's a smaller market. He could probably do a lot better from what happened this year to him. We'll see, but they need some. They had a Coach of the Year finalist in Jamal Mosley. He's going to be there for a while.
He was a runner-up.
He was runner-up, correct. So they're going in the right direction. I Jonathan Isaac next year, if he's fully healthy, you got a star in the making.
Need him on the court.
Yeah.
You know, they got guys. They just need to all be cohesive, working one another. Injuries is going to happen, but they need their main guys to be healthy. The full 82, even if they get 60 plus. And there's Isaac's resting a few games from whatever he's going through as well. But we're assuming he's fully healthy for next year and he's good to go.
Right.
Along with Paolo.
That's what we kind of hope.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Gio, what are your thoughts? I'll kind of throw it across to you, kind of. As far as Cleveland, did this first round series give you concerns?
I think so. I think they should have handled the Magic in less than 7 games. I think they're very the Cavs are very up and down. Like they can show you how good they are, then they'll show you like how like I don't know, immature or inconsistent that they are as well. So it's definitely concerning for the next round. And they're playing the Celtics, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I don't see them beating the Celtics, but
it's definitely a tall task with no Porzingis, but at the same time, Jared Allen's been out. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting. We'll touch on that one later. But do you have anything else on the Magic's Magic end?
Yeah, well, for the Magic, I think their future's bright. I think, like you were saying, Anthony, they need veteran leadership. I think that's number one for them this offseason. Whoever it might be, they need someone that's going to drive the boat, someone that's going to steer that ship, you know, in the right direction. And in the off season, put them to work. You know, show them what a championship team is like, how they practice, how they work, what they are like off the court as well as on the court. So I think they need that coming into next season, and I think they'll be in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you there.
Yeah.
This was definitely a good feel-out year for them, kind of, you know, being thrown right into the Lions' den, 5th seed against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs. They did very well, and they'll be back.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long, like, you know, 6 months without the song, but at least we got to hear it 3 times in the playoffs. So
and Paolo's legit.
We
found
playoff
out.
riser. Franz Wagner did concern me a little bit tonight.
Franz was 1
of 15, one of the most inefficient game 7s in league history.
Yeah.
He passed Devin Booker, man.
Right. We know how good Franz is. Right. We know you're guarded totally differently in the playoffs. So it's just his opportunity now to just, you know, bounce back.
Right.
Yeah.
Get better.
Put his head down. Exactly.
Exactly. And we'll see what the Magic do. You know, they'll have like a mid-round pick, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Jamal Mosley's got a good squad cooking up, and we'll see who they add. And really, they can add anyone. I genuinely have no idea who it would be. But Clay seems like the most likely name. We'll see if the Warriors are still attached to him.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see there. Let's transition over to a bit of a sadder series. Sorry, my English is not working at 9:30 at night. As Gio would allude, Russell Westbrook has been sent to Cancun for the umpteenth time in his NBA career, and the Los Angeles Clippers follow suit, losing in 6 games to the Dallas Mavericks. They lost, I think, on Friday. I've lost concept of time. But they lost to the Mavs in Game 6. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard had not played since Game 3. And look, we had asked last week what would happen first, if the Mavs would get a win with Kawhi out or if the Clippers would get a win with Kawhi in. Lo and behold, the Clippers were never given the opportunity because Kawhi never came back. Yeah. We saw some insane play from Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Makes me sad because I miss seeing that night in and night out. And you know, I'm just going to move on from that because I don't want to get depressed. But I guess I'll start with you. I'll key in with you on the Clippers and I'll talk with you on the Mavs. But first off, we need to know about that statement Russ put out on Instagram, and then after that, kind of just go into the Clippers and just this series as a whole for them.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't know, Russ put out a statement, I think, on his Instagram story, and he's basically saying, you know, the season didn't go as predicted, and you know that he hopes that he can be in whatever position he's in next season, that he hopes that he can help a team to win a championship. So I assume that he'll be back on the Clippers. Winning a championship, I don't think so. I'm gonna be honest, and it's really sad. I'm very downcast right now. But that being said, this is not on Russ. I'm telling you right now, this is not on Russ. This is on coaching. Okay, I'm blaming Tyronn Lue. Okay, he's one of the better coaches, but this is on him. And I think because if you put Russ into the game, you have to give him the ball. You cannot allow him just to stand in the corner for like a catch and shoot three. That's not what he does. And so that's what he was doing in the entire Game 5 and Game 6. He was standing in the corner for threes or on the wing for threes. If you don't give Russ the ball when he's in the game, there's no reason why he's in the game. You might as well put in Bones Highland if you want three-point shooting. You might as well put in Brandon Boston. You can put in anyone, Coffee, whoever it might be. Don't put in Russ if you want three-point shooting. He's going to affect the game on defense, one, and he's going to affect the game when the ball is in his hands. Okay? Right. So Tyronn Lue, take the ball out of Harden's hands and put it in Russ's hands. And who knows, maybe we would still be playing games right now.
I don't know if Harden would like not being the ball dominant guard. Maybe instead you have Russ run the second unit.
That's what we've been doing all season. That's why I was so confused. Like, why is the ball not in his hands?
Because again, you don't play the same in the regular season in the playoffs. You know, the possessions slow down. Every possession counts. And in the playoffs, what you do in the regular season might not work in the playoffs, right? You see tons of teams just use totally different sets. And at the end of the day, it just hurts them, right?
Yeah.
So, as far as that goes, any comments on Kawhi or PG or just the Clippers?
Oh man, Kawhi. It's really unfortunate. Injuries in his career, he could have been one of the best. I mean, he still could go down as one of the best small forwards of all time. But it's just so unfortunate because of the knee injuries he's had, and also I think he's maybe a little soft. But I can't really judge him because I'm not in his body. You know, I don't know what he's feeling. But the whole, like, knee inflammation, bro, like, come on, man. You don't
I could understand it because it's just you never see lockdown defenders like that be soft.
Yeah.
And Kawhi's like all time.
Yeah.
I understand he misses a lot of time. But when you're dealing with the knee inflammation, this is a guy who's torn his ACL twice, I think. Or
I think once.
Once his meniscus. His ACL once and his meniscus once.
Yeah.
He's got issues everywhere, obviously.
Yeah.
Just being injured a lot. And that's why he load manages, even though I think it causes more risk for injury. But we could talk about that another time. That should be a good off-season topic.
And PG is a playoff not riser. What's the opposite of riser?
Instead of
shrinker.
I wouldn't call him a dropper.
Okay.
Because he's not like an Embiid, but I would say he's a playoff stagnator.
Yeah.
He just kind of stays the same. And when you're an all-star and you're the first or second option on team, you need to lift yourself up. You need to play like just, out of your body, essentially an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel bad for Kawhi. Hopefully we can just get another healthy season from him at any point because, look, we all know what he is. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest defenders to ever grace the game. But yeah, it's a shame, man. Yeah. And that brings an end to the crypto Clippers.
Yep.
So they move into their new arena next year. We'll see how it turns out. So I'll turn over to you now. We'll talk about the winning team in this series. The Dallas Mavericks. What'd you see from them?
I'm gonna backtrack to. I don't know if you guys remember in our first episode, I said Clippers winning advance because Kawhi's injury, and you guys all looked at me like, "What are you talking about? Kawhi's injury?" And it happened right in front of us. And Gio knows that we talked about it before the podcast began.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I wanted to see him play, but regardless, things happen. Going back to the Mavs, we saw Kyrie take over and do what he does best, which is his isolation game, and just completely I don't even know how to describe it. It's just how he sees the court,
it's just magical.
How he envisions just everything. It's truly like every time there was the one play where he was. Who did he almost drop and hit the 3-pointer, step back?
It was PJ Tucker.
Oh, I was gonna say because it looked like PJ Tucker, and he just it looks like just artwork.
It's Leonardo da Vinci if he played basketball.
And Luka rebounded pretty good. I think he did what he had to do. Gafford was defending really well. PJ was helping out. Those guys needed to step up. I knew they lost. Maxi Kleber, I think, had an injury at the last game. He might be out for a little bit.
He's out for the season.
Oh,
I heard that they may reevaluate him in like 3 weeks if they're
It's tough,
still
man.
in it.
He dislocated his AC
Yeah.
joint in his shoulder, so
Yeah,
I
know.
don't necessarily think
Kleber was
he's
like,
playing.
rough.
yeah, but I still think the big thing with them going into this series now against OKC, right? OKC
Yeah,
is their depth. We've been saying this, I think, outside of Luka, Kyrie, your
just the starters.
starters. Yeah,
It's really bench depth is what wins
Yeah.
you a playoff.
Lively was great for them. Still a rookie, but another great piece going down the line. That was a nice draft pick they made. I think Luka and Kyrie can, if they keep playing like this, I think they can take that series against OKC no problem. I think
Then we'll see.
if Kyrie's playing the way he did in the last 2 games and just maybe even better, I think it's wraps. I don't know.
I
but
think Luka needs to play a little bit better.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing.
I understand he's playing sick and hurt, but
We need to see the games he puts up in the regular season.
well, you're not going to get that.
Close to it.
No, you're not going to get that because
I don't know.
you're the when he scored 73, he played the Hawks. The Hawks have like the worst defense I've ever seen.
Well, I'm not saying score 73.
Well, no, but like you're not going to see a lot of like 40 and 50 bombs.
Really?
It doesn't
You
happen
should be.
very often.
We saw Brunson do it.
Kyrie made it look easy.
Well,
Well, you know.
what other creative offensive options do the Knicks have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have Kyrie Irving there,
Yeah.
and he is obviously
He's doing his thing.
insane, one of the most skilled player the league's ever seen. And obviously you got good shooters around you.
Yeah.
So Luka's not going to be as like the past where he had to take over when you were playing with Porzingis or you were playing with Dinwiddie as your second option. So this alleviates pressure off of him, but he needs to be just more efficient. And I think they'll be fine. But obviously that's something we'll talk about later on into the episode. But do we have any final?
I have a question, really quick.
Go for it. Yeah.
Whose team is this in the playoffs? Is it Kyrie's team or is it Luka's team?
I think it's Kyrie's team.
It's Luka's team,
In
but
the playoffs.
Luka. It's Luka's team,
Okay.
but he trusts Kyrie. He has not yet trusted a teammate like that yet. This is the first time
Yeah.
we're seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He lets Kyrie take over when he needs to.
It seems to me like Kyrie is the clutch guy.
Well, he always has been, and Luka has been too.
Okay.
But Luka's not 100% right now, so that's why it's almost seeming like Kyrie.
I see it more of I agree with him saying it's Luka's team, but I think together it's their team.
Yeah.
I think that they're cohesive enough where they're not going to say it's one or the other.
Yeah.
I would at least hope, but I think in Mark Cuban's mind, Luka's has more time there than Kyrie does. Kyrie's obviously on the older side,
Oh yeah.
but Luka is the future. Kyrie is the now.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's how I kind of see it.
It's just good to see. It's good to see Kyrie just thriving again.
Yeah,
I think the whole Nets situation.
Yeah.
I think at the same time, while he's now in a place where he's treated with the proper respect, I think the Nets experience also kind of humbled him a little bit. And you're seeing. I think you haven't seen any controversy about Kyrie
nothing.
because Dallas is a big market. It's
Yeah.
not. It's no New York, obviously,
Right,
but
right.
it's not like he went to a small market team.
No. Yeah.
So, but it's good to see that everything with Kyrie has been strictly basketball. And honestly, we can't ask for anything more. And as a Nets fan, does it suck that he's not here anymore on the Nets? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I personally have no bad blood towards Kyrie. I know a lot of fans do. But like I'm a firm believer if shit happens, you move on and you wish them well. Unless you're James Harden when you just quit on the team like that.
Yeah.
But I understand why he requested the trade. I understand why he didn't take the contract offer. So, yeah, it's just good to see him thriving in a better situation for him and his family, and we'll see what Dallas can do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then, hey, do you want to intro the next series since this one's very near and dear to your heart?
Yeah. I guess I'll go into the Knicks taking 6 games to dismantle depleted 76ers team. I'm saying depleted very sarcastically, as Embiid playing on one leg did not seem so depleted.
And one half of face.
And one half a face did not seem depleted at all. And I want to just give a big prop to him for doing what he did. I think he's going through a lot physically, and to put on what he did to a team like us I know Tyler is not the biggest fan of Embiid in the playoffs, but I think in this series he gave everything he had left in him to figure out a way to get to get games and try to even make it to the next round.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this. He gave everything he had for the first 45 minutes of the game. Because he was passing up shots in the fourth quarter and in crunch time when he needed to take over. And I understand. Like
he wasn't able to.
Right, but I give him full props for going out there under the circumstances of, being 3 months off of knee surgery and having that giant cast/brace or whatever you want to call it. I always give players props for playing through injuries, just like when anyone else does, right? And obviously, I don't think any NBA players played with Bell's palsy.
Insane.
That's just so unheard of. It's so rare to happen under those circumstances, and it happened at the absolute worst time, obviously with the playoffs coming around. But yeah, obviously everyone knows my stance on Embiid. And look, it is what it is. It's a yearly thing when he's hurt in the playoffs. And, even last year he sprained his MCL and he looked as healthy as ever in that second round. This year was the only time I'll give him a pass because he was clearly just not with it.
Yeah.
Not at all. Just never include him in a conversation with Jokic again, and we'll be fine.
I think
when they go head to head, it's even though.
But that's
it's just Jokic has a way better team.
But it's only in Philadelphia. He hasn't played in Denver since 2019. He ducks every year.
Come on, that doesn't matter.
They only play once a year.
I think yes, playing in an away atmosphere in the playoffs doesn't matter.
And anyone who plays in Denver is going to have a hard time because the altitude alone.
Yeah, but why doesn't he? If he thinks he's better than Jokic, why doesn't he show up then? That's kind of my thing with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I've go ahead.
Yeah, no, but at the end of the day, I've never seen a debate end as emphatically as this one did, though.
Listen, I will always be in that majority that Jokic Embiid right now, but I will give Embiid the respect for what he's going through right now in that playoff series and made it look so easily against the Knicks that were majority fully healthy. And but this series scares me a little bit for us going into Indy. I'm not gonna lie, because
try and save the series talk from that for later, but kind of just go into the Knicks. So.
There's just so much. I think the big thing that resonates with me with the Knicks team is that it's hard because I don't want to say that. I think inconsistency resonates with a few of the starters. I don't think Brunson is in that conversation. Dante worries me a little bit. Yes. His 3-point shooting has been a little lackluster. He's had his clutch shots. Josh Hart's been all around the court, defense and offense.
Can't ask more.
Can't ask more. Center-wise, Mitch is another question mark. Hartenstein's been doing his best.
Great.
Did with Embiid with one leg.
Don't forget OG, bro.
Can I say one thing, actually? Add one more thing on Embiid, because you reminded me something of Mitchell Robinson.
Go ahead.
When are we going to start kind of talking about how much of a dirty player he is?
I was just going to say that.
Embiid.
Yes.
I was just going to say that.
The thing that he did to Mitch, that's one thing I'm not standing by, because he could have seriously did some damage to Mitch. The way
he rolled his ankle on his stomach.
The way Mitch could have fallen. Mitch has been through foot injuries for the past 2 years, and it's been just a nail in the side for him.
Yeah.
And if he were to get another foot injury again, it would have been, I think, just another whole different thing. OG was great. I know OG as well is coming off of a surgery he had midseason with his arm. He's wearing that brace around it. He's given his all it can be as well in the playoffs.
He defends.
Bro, I love OG with my heart.
I don't think we miss Randle. I don't miss him.
I tried to tell you.
I don't think we miss him at all. I think our role guys are putting up. I know Randle's on the bench, I think, for the last 2 games, which figures he should be there watching the games with them.
Oh, yeah.
Is he healthy to play?
No, he's got a dislocated shoulder. He had surgery.
Yeah, he had surgery. He's
but,
done.
I mean, think about it this way, right? Who's playing current power forward right now?
They're running out Jalen, Dante, OG, Hartenstein.
Okay, so let's just say he's playing in place of Josh Hart, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of grit and just grabbing rebounds and everything. Yeah, Randle's scoring a lot more points, but he's just chucking shots in the fourth quarter and shooting them out of the game, just like he did the past 2 times you were in the playoffs. So I want to take my victory lap on that. I think Randle's already played his last game for the Knicks.
You know what I would like more though? I think if Randle is it possible that Randle can come back if the Knicks push the season into the finals, let's say?
The problem with what happened, and I understand why he did it. A dislocated shoulder surgery takes anywhere from 3 to 4 months to recover. It happened to Andy Robertson back in October. He had the surgery right away, so he was back in the end of January. Randle tried to come back instead of having the surgery, and he had the surgery back in the end of March.
When OG first went down, he went right into the surgery.
Right.
That's why he's back right now.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, his surgery wasn't as hefty.
No, but they were saying they were a little worried after he came back that his rehab was he took some steps back a little bit. And
that's why.
It's Randle's left shoulder, yeah?
The right shoulder.
The right shoulder, okay.
Yeah.
It happened on Christmas? Or
yes. No, a few days after he fell.
It was one of the ESPN games.
It was one of the
ESPN
games. Yes, it was one of the ESPN. I was watching it too.
So it's definitely unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, even last year when y'all played Cleveland, I had said Knicks in 7 with Randle, Knicks in 6 without.
Yeah.
So
okay, keep going.
No, this I want to save the indie talk, but it worries me a little bit. The bench right now is, I think, a little. It's not deep. Bojan is out.
Oh yeah.
They haven't really been playing Burks in the rotation at all. It's kind of just been Precious Achua just filling in for big body Mitch. And then Miles McBride's been that guy that's coming off the bench that's scoring threes, and I'm fine with that. I love Deuce, but yeah, obviously, Bojan wasn't doing much either. He's kind of was just streaky. Him being out, I guess, is another veteran guy that you would probably want down the road.
I think you're going to need him against the Pacers for offense.
Yeah,
for offense, he's a cone defensively.
Yeah, I would think, but I think Deuce can get that offense. I think the Pacers' depth definitely overpowers our depth. I think that's the biggest glare.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save the Pacers.
Try and save it. Yeah.
But the way they played with this series, it worries me going into this conference semifinals. But I hope to be wrong.
What do you think?
About what specifically?
You have the floor, man. Just go for it.
Man, it's just so much to talk about.
This really wasn't a well planned out episode. We kind of were last minute on a lot of these things, but
okay. Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Actually, no. Let me say something first. I'm going to say the Knicks actually did find their identity after Randle went down, and their identity is grittiness, offensive rebounds, and just hustle plays. That's their identity. And they found that after Randle went down. I feel like. What do you guys think about that?
I think they've always been like.
They've always been like, even with Randle.
Yes.
Okay.
Randle's kind of that. He's not as his play style's not similar to the rest of the team in the sense that he's not going to dive on the floor. He kind of reminds me more of Brunson, where he'll try and get a call, and his game is mostly offensive. Whereas Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, those guys are dogs.
Oh yeah.
Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson can score at will whenever they want, but I don't put them into that category as the other guys. I'm not saying Julius Randle, in my opinion, is a soft player, but I wouldn't put him or Brunson into that sort of category. They're the ones you need to rely on scoring the ball. They'll take care of the rest on the other end.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
I think Brunson's a dog as well.
Haven't seen much of it. It's just he's that guy.
Okay.
We know Brunson's that guy. He can score at will.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We know that. But is he the guy that's going to grab 14 offensive rebounds? Exactly. That's why I don't put him in that category. Yeah, okay. It's just not his game, and that's not his fault.
Right. No.
That's why it's a team.
Right.
Josh Hart fills in the gaps for what Jalen Brunson can't do. And that's not a knock at Brunson at all. But
well, the Knicks should have closed the game out in 5 games. Just want to say that real quick. But it took them 6, and it's okay.
I disagree. The Knicks should have been down 3-2, for being honest.
Why?
Because they were robbed. The Sixers were robbed in Game 2.
Yeah.
This should have been going back to the Garden for Game 7, and my God, that would have been electric. Although I don't know if Embiid could have handled 48 more minutes.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he finished off Game 6, he almost had 40. But
Yeah.
that's a different story. I mean, I don't know. Embiid was, I think, one bad collision, bad landing from just being out of the whole series completely.
Yeah.
But Maxey, I think, also had a stinker. Tobias Harris, don't even get me started on
Yeah.
him. Kyle Lowry, I think he left the game early with an injury in
Yeah, he
Game
didn't play
6.
I think so, yeah.
He played like 10 minutes. I think he left
He's
with an
past
injury.
it.
Yeah.
He's past it.
Kelly Oubre did what he had to do. I thought he was
Played well.
really efficient for them.
Yeah.
I think the one thing was Tobias Harris. I know the Sixers fans want his head. They don't want him there. He's a free agent, so
He'll go elsewhere, man.
He'll go elsewhere. But I think it's going to go back next year to Maxey and Embiid again.
We'll see.
I think they build the team around Maxey.
They have to.
Maybe have to get rid of.
I won't,
not get rid, but just like move on.
I
from
also
Joel.
won't throw out a possible Jimmy return. To Philly.
He is not leaving Miami. That's not happening.
I don't know.
No, they're going to try and recruit Embiid.
Oh, Miami.
Yeah. Notice, Bam's starting to shoot the ball. Maybe
Yeah.
they pull a cat and move him to power forward.
Ah, that'll be
So,
interesting.
but that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah,
This
that's
segment's
an
gone on
off-season
for over half an
convo.
hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to our official second round predictions. All right, now that we got that out of the way, first round was one to forget. I think we'll all just kind of be honest with ourselves. But now it's time for the second round. These should be better. At least I hope. I don't want to see another 2 sweeps in the second round. It just won't be entertaining, ethical basketball. But we're basically going to do what we did in our pilot episode. We're just going to give you guys our predictions for each series. And we'll just kind of go from there. We'll kind of give a general breakdown for each one. We'll go same order as we did the last time. We'll go through the East, and then we'll go through the West, and we'll have our winners. So let's start it off with you, Antoine. Lead us into the first series.
All right, so we have the 1-4 matchup, Celtics Cavs. What do you guys think with this series is going to be standing out to you most? Is this going to be Celtics all the way through, or are we going to see some Cavs, good basketball come into play and give the Celtics a problem possibly?
Can we go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'm more concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm more curious to see what happens with Jared Allen, because we know Porzingis has already been ruled out for the series, right? With that calf injury, they're playing the long game here. The East is wide open, so the Celtics' path is pretty clear. Try and save him up till the finals. If Jared Allen plays, then maybe the Cavs take a couple games. I just don't know. I think the Magic were a tougher matchup for Boston just because historically they've always known how to play better against them. I think they won most of the matchups over the past couple of years. I think the Celtics maybe won like 2 or 3 of them over the past like 4 years. But look, we've seen some good games between Cleveland and Boston. It's just Boston this year is just so much better, right? I think the arrival of Derek White in the first round this year has been outstanding. And you saw what he did last year, and that was when he had hair. Now that he's bald, he's just become so much more aerodynamic. Like he's gliding through the air. He's clamping everyone. Aerodynamic. Why do you think swimmers and marathon runners like shave their leg hair?
True.
So it gives them more speed. But with this series, I'm curious to see what we get out of Donovan Mitchell. Really, because if you're Boston and Jared Allen's not playing, I'm like double teaming him most times he gets the ball, because Darius Garland's been a shell of himself, and I don't know if you're going to get much from him. You're going from an easier matchup to a tougher matchup with the best team in the East by a country mile. And look, I think it's going to be probably the least entertaining series we're going to see in this round. I think if Jared Allen plays, I'll go Celtics in 6, because again, I'm still not trusting their discipline. I know they're down Porzingis. I think it'll be a good series for Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
But if Jared Allen doesn't play, I think they only get 1 game in Cleveland, and I'll go Celtics in 5.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think I agree with that, Celtics in 5. But I think the size of the Cavs might bother the Celtics, especially with Porzingis being down. I think that might bother them for like a game or 2. But easily, I still think the Celtics win the series. Yeah, I think I also think Karis LeVert has to show up in order for the Cavs to have a chance at winning even one game. I think he has to show up big time.
Right.
So,
I mean, the Celtics have size to counteract. They have Horford now on the starting, I think, in place of Porzingis.
right.
And you'll get spot minutes from like Luke Cornett and company. But so yeah, I'm kind of in agreement there. What do you think?
I'm just going through the bracket here because I was forgetting some things. But yeah, I think this is Celtics. I'm not close to the mic. I think this is Celtics in 5.
Yeah.
I don't think Cleveland gets anywhere without Allen. Like I think
they can get to a game 5.
I think they can, but I mean, with Porzingis is a loss. They need him for sure, but I think with Drew, Derek White is just different level. I mean, Brad Stevens with that trade he made with San Antonio to get him, just good work, good basketball work from him. Just scouting him, and bringing him aboard to just fill in what they needed. I think for Cavs, we definitely got to see Garland rebound massively if he gets anything going with the Celtics. Mitchell, we know, is going to have his games. He's going to be there. Strus, I want to see him get more involved with shooting like he did last year in Miami. We'll see with Mobley, with Allen, what's going on with that. But I think Celtics, this shouldn't be that hard of a task for them to get through. I wouldn't be surprised if they get to a Game 6, but I'm saying Game 6 very loosely if Allen comes back. I think it's a rapid fire. I think I could see a sweep, but I don't think that's happening.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's definitely possible for Jay to come back.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know. I mean, it's not going to make a difference.
No.
Like they're still gonna lose, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to my Cleveland friends, but I think I think they also didn't even think they were going to get out of this first round series. So, but yeah, should be. I hope an interesting one. I at least want to see close games, but I don't know, man. The Celtics just look unstoppable right now. And look, we'll see if anyone in the East can put up a fight.
Yeah.
But let's transition over to what I think is going to be a really interesting series, and that is the 2-6 matchup. Yeah, the seating's confusing sometimes.
I have it up so I don't forget.
The 2-6 matchup between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers, where you got all offense against all defense. And look, I think there's definitely a lot of questions to be answered from both sides on their weaker end, right? We saw a lot of positives from both of them in their first round series, and we also saw a lot of negatives and a lot of question marks that, look, who's going to fuck up the least, essentially? But obviously, we'll throw it over to a resident Knicks fan of Antoine. Just going to take a wild guess and say you have the Knicks winning this series. So I guess just how many games?
I'm going to still take into account what happened with Philly. The Pacers, this whole regular season, I don't think they've won a game against them. I'm not sure what the splits are, but I did watch the games they played them, and it was just high scoring. I think this can be a really high scoring series.
Let me double check for you.
Double check that. I think Pacers took both games. I could be wrong, but I have the Knicks in 6. I'm gonna go back the same route to Philly.
You said 5 originally.
What I'm gonna give Indy a game.
I think that was just instant Nick delusion.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Indy a game. I'll give him 4-2.
Okay.
This is obviously, I'm saying they win if everything is clicking. If Dante shows up with the shooting and everything else, Josh Hart keeps doing what he's doing. Jalen Brunson shows up against Tyrese. OG with his defense. Everything needs to be cohesive with them to just get past this Pacers team. I know they're going to be scoring a lot. Their defense is league last, I think, Tyler, correct?
No, the Hawks are league last.
Hawks are...
The Pacers are definitely a bottom 10, bottom 5 defense, but they played 3 times this season.
Yeah. 3.
Pacers hung 140 on them the first meeting.
Wow.
Then the Knicks beat them by 4 in the second meeting, and then the Pacers hung 125 on them, won by 14 in the third meeting. Okay. So both Pacers wins have been blowouts, and the one Knick win was close. The first game, the 140 game, was in Indy, and the last 2 games were at the Garden.
Okay.
So
all right. 2-1.
You got Pacers in 6.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's
No,
possible.
Knicks.
Oh,
Knicks
I'm sorry.
in 6.
You got Knicks in 6.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, the Suns beat the Wolves in every game in the regular season this year, and obviously the Wolves swept them. So
With this thing, I think the one thing that Pacers have over us is their bench depth, which I was saying before. And Hallie is just another star in the making. That's just fantastic. Siakam, we forgot Siakam's there. Siakam's there. I'm not looking forward to TJ McConnell being a menace.
it's gonna be great.
And Obi Toppin having games going off against us. I'm hoping that doesn't happen
Oh
either.
my god, I forgot about that.
If Obi Toppin goes off on
good
us.
old-fashioned revenge
I'm
game.
gonna be upset. Miles Turner is there.
Love it.
Nemhard is a great player. His favorite player, Isaiah Jackson, is there.
He's so good.
I forgot who their small Dougie McBuckets is there.
Yeah, he's not playing.
He's getting. Who's their small forward? I'm trying to figure out who their small
Nesmith?
forward is. Nesmith,
You know,
another 3-point
what
shooter.
I just realized? They're doing this whole thing without Benedict Mathurin.
Yes,
Bro, I don't know who that is. I'm not gonna lie.
Mathurin
He's
was
0-0.
Yeah, he was their top rookie last year. He was
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, you don't know Mathurin? Yes, that's another question. I forget Mathurin's there because he's
I keep
injured.
forgetting he's there. But basically, Mathurin, if you ever saw like random quotes from from just NBA players, he's like, Kevin Durant's gonna have to prove that he's better than me. And I just love his energy.
That's him?
He's great, yeah.
Mathurin was their lottery pick last year out of Arizona. He played really well last year for them. He was in rookie of the year conversation.
His name
for a
is
little
what?
bit.
Benedict Mathurin.
Wow.
He's their shooting. They played him off the bench primarily.
He played in the skills contest this year.
Yeah.
With Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner.
That sounds like such an old English name.
He's another one of their building pieces.
He's Canadian.
He's another good player they have. That's another draft pick. But they always have talent. I feel like Isaiah Jackson, Nemhard, those are guys I drafted.
Yeah.
Obi's a guy they traded for, of course. They're another ascending team. They're scary to me. I don't like when we play them, because they can hang 140 on us.
They could score
and
score
and
score.
TJ McConnell. I'm not looking
up
He's getting so scared he's repeating himself.
Yeah, I know him and Hart already starting their beef. I don't know. I'm standing by Knicks in 6.
All right, that's fair. What do you think, my good sir? My voice cracked.
I also think Knicks in 6, but that's also a little wishful thinking.
Right.
Pacers are tough. We know that. But it comes down to, for me, how the refs are going to call the game. Because are they going to call a New York-style game, or are they going to call a Pacers-style game? And a Pacers-style game is a lot of fouls, a lot of free throws.
Does that exist?
What?
A Pacer-style game?
I mean, yeah, because they put up how many points per game? 120? And what does that consist of? A lot of free throws as well.
We don't know. I mean, let me take a look right now.
Yeah, check that out.
Because honestly, I probably would know this if it was earlier in the day, but I just cannot right now. I'm looking at the free throw differential graph this year. Mm-hmm. All I know is that Laker fans will always complain that they don't have the whistle, yet they have, bar none, the highest, differential I've ever seen in my life. But you can continue talking about what you think is going to happen in the series while I look for this.
Yeah, so, if the refs call a Knicks-style game, which is you're literally hand-checking like it's 90s defense.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I found that a lot faster than I thought.
What is it?
All right, so NBA net free throw attempts differential since the start of last season. Obviously, the Lakers are in first with 1,017. The Knicks are second in the league with 358. There's a 700-point gap in between the Lakers and the Knicks. Okay. Indiana is
this?
But the playoffs. But if you look at the playoffs, though, it's kind of different.
Well, it could. Well, remember, these are all. It doesn't say if it's regular season or playoffs. But all I will say, the Knicks are second with a plus 358. The Pacers are second bottom, minus 533. Oh, wow. The only team worse than them is the Warriors.
Okay.
This stat go off again.
This is the net free throw differential.
Yeah.
Between the Lakers.
But I'm not talking about free throws. This is specifically. I'm talking about overall.
No, but think about it, right? In the fourth quarter, when someone has 5 team fouls, they're in the bonus. So any foul, you go to the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, but that's only in the fourth. That's only in the
every
bonus,
quarter.
Though.
Every
quarter. But that's only when you're in the bonus.
Exactly. But that's mainly the.
But what I'm saying is mainly in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You see the Knicks. Both teams are hand checking, pushing, no fouls being called.
Right, yeah.
But in the Pacers series, you see those same things that they were doing, those are being called right away.
Exactly.
So it's a different style of how you're going to call the game. That's what I'm trying to get to.
That's what I'm curious. I mean, we've seen both ends. I mean, we've seen the Knicks assault and battery Tyrese Maxey.
Yes, you did see
So it's going to be different now.
So I'm curious how they're going to call it, and I think it depends on that, because if they call those fouls, how the Knicks were playing against the Sixers, if they call those fouls, Pacers win this series in 5 games. Okay, because the Knicks don't have offense. They rely on the calls not being called and their defense and their grit and their hustle. So I don't know.
That's where my concerns with Jalen Brunson still lie.
Okay.
Because we all know he's one of the best scorers in the league. He relies a little too much on getting the calls. And when you're not getting the calls, it gets in your head. You're going to struggle more. And now, granted, the Pacers don't have as much size as Philly does. So I definitely think he'll have an easier time getting his shots off. But, I mean, who else on the Knicks is going to generate offense?
That's right.
And not only did I pick the Pacers because I'm a Nets fan, but I actually genuinely do think they're going to win the series. I think right now, with a team like them, obviously you need to defend at just a little bit. The way they score, they could easily outscore the Knicks. They just gotta get stops. And I do think the Pacers can dig deep and get stops. And I do think TJ McConnell is the next Trae Young for Knicks fans and the next Joel Embiid. Like, he is going to piss people off. I'm telling you, when he has a random game where he scores 26 points on all jump shots, I'm telling you, he's going to piss people off. And he walked so Jose Alvarado could run. I'll tell you that for a fact.
That's true.
So I do think there's a lot of interesting storylines, right? We got Obi Toppin going up against his former team, Siakam against OG, former Toronto teammates. I genuinely will be surprised if Josh Hart sits for a single second in this series. I hope he doesn't run him into the ground because, I mean, without him, I don't know what they're going to do.
He's going to need to get sleep like never before. No video games for Josh Hart at all.
No podcast for at least a week.
Nothing.
Just
eat, sleep, basketball. That's it.
Exactly, yeah. But here's my thing, too, with Indiana. As time goes on, Tyrese Halliburton's getting more away from that injury. And he's getting more comfortable. And look, I think this is 2 evenly matched teams. Just they're really proficient in opposite and they're really deficient in the other opposite. So it's really tough.
I also want to add, Hallie, I think in this series is also going to play with a chip on his shoulder because of what Wally Zerbiak said about him on MSG earlier in the season.
That was last year, wasn't it?
Was it last year?
Yeah, because he was a first-time All-Star last year. He was a wannabe All-Star.
And I know he has some bad blood with him. I know Wally apologized for that, but Hallie, I don't think, forgot about that. And he's playing the Knicks, and he won't be in the booth because he's not calling on ESPN or...
Well, there's no local TV
but I think he knows he's watching.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Tyrese always has a point to prove.
Yeah.
Considering that he was like a mid-round. He was like towards the end of the lottery.
He was lottery.
Yeah, towards the end of the lottery.
15.
Yep.
I had said he was going to be the best player in that draft class.
Wow.
I have a tweet saved somewhere. I got to find it. But
you the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro.
if he would have worked with De'Aaron Fox, that would have been so good. But.
He would have, but they're too redundant.
Yeah.
They need the ball.
De'Aaron Fox was more equipped for playoffs at the time. I totally get the move.
Yeah.
It may look stupid now, but I understand it. But I think with this series, I think the Pacers' depth is going to be too much because the Pacers' depth can generate offense, right? I mean, instead of relying on Precious Achiuwa and even Josh Hart can make things out of broken plays, but he can't, generate an offense like Brunson. That's where not having Randle sucks. But, I think just across the board, the Pacers just have a bunch of guys that can generate offense. And I think it's going to be too overwhelming for the Knicks to handle, especially because the Knicks haven't taken a closeout game at MSG since 1999. If it gets at any point to a Game 7, I don't think the Knicks will win, just for that reason alone. So I have the Pacers in 6.
Knicks have home court, though.
But like I said, in closeout games at home, the Knicks can't get it done, just like they did against Philly.
Okay.
So I have the Pacers in 6, but if it goes to a Game 7, I wouldn't be surprised. I still have the Pacers regardless. So should be a good series. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun personally. And I'll be able to at least watch this series and not feel nauseous because at least it's not Joel Embiid and the Sixers on the other side. So I can just root for the Pacers in peace.
Right. Okay.
So,
well, that being said, let's get into the Thunder versus the Mavs.
Yeah.
What do we think?
This is going to be a 7-game series
Ooh.
in favor of the Thunder.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait, didn't you have the Thunder going to the conference finals?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
This is a 7-game series that is going to be very enticing. I think OKC gets it done at home in Game 7. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth battle between them two from start to finish. I think they're just evenly matched. I think you have two superstars on Dallas that know what they're going up against, and you have a very hungry, barking OKC team that's hungry as well. And I think they get it done. It's going to be back and forth, like I said. I think the whole series. I think this is a game where the home teams are going to win.
Every single time?
I think it's going to be the same scenario.
Wow.
I could see that.
I could
I
see
think
that
I kind of
happening.
agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I think both of their fan bases are hungry and just loud for their success.
They've been on their delusional MVP cases all year, both of them.
Both.
But yeah, OKC, they love this team like with their heart, and I see at their games, like, you know, even the reporters love talking to them.
Their whiteouts in the stands go hard,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I
Looks
think
fire.
I think this is a game. This is a series for Chet, SGA to step it up and prepare for another battle with the other two teams, whoever comes out of that in the conference finals. I think right now they got the easier matchup compared to the other two teams.
Yeah. Not wrong.
So, yeah, I think Timberwolves Nuggets, they got the better series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they could take it in 7.
Okay. Okay. Not the Pelicans anymore. This is where we see, or this is what we see what SGA is made of. This is it. This is it. And honestly, it's these next 2 rounds if he gets past. Because I still think the Pelicans without Zion either win or put up a better fight and lose in 6 or 7.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm still not convinced with SGA. I want him to prove me wrong. We had knocked over a water bottle. Because we saw in the playing game last year, the second one, he was terrible. So I can't really make any sort of decisions with the Thunder. It's hard because you have SGA who has something to prove in the playoffs. You can't really ask much of Chet. He's coming off a Liz Frank injury. He's had an amazing season. If he meets his match, he meets his match. Then it's just something for him to just get better with. I think there's definitely going to be a lot of adjustments made from Mark Daigneault because obviously you are going against the two-headed snake of Luka and Kyrie. On the Mavs end, I don't even think the Maxi Kleber injury is going to affect them much. I think it's just what do you get from the role guys?
Yeah.
I think Luka and Kyrie are going to do their thing, even if Luka's inefficient. And we'll see. I think the key is whoever wins this series to not gas themselves out before you either go up against the towers in Minnesota or up in the altitude against the best player in the world. So right now, just based off of what I've seen and just based off of history, I do think the Mavericks take this series in 6 games. I still think the Thunder are too young. I think they overachieved. They easily could have been the 2nd or 3rd seed. We don't know, honestly, how that would have played out. But they weren't the most dominant team in the West by any means. They just finished on top of everyone else. It was really close between them, Denver, and Minnesota. I just think Kyrie's playing a brand of basketball right now that is just... He's not going to be stopped this round.
You don't see him slowing down?
No, I think it would take a Minnesota or a Denver or a Boston or whoever to do that. That's why I think the Mavs could potentially make... Hello, it's Tyler again, post-edit. At this point, we blew out a fuse. We had too many things plugged in, and the PC was plugged into the outlets that just stopped working for about 10-15 minutes. But don't worry, everything was fixed, and we were able to get back to recording the rest of the episode, so we hope you guys enjoy it. Sorry for the short little inconvenience. Back to the pod. All right, well, that happened. We just completely lost all power for like 5 minutes. It was quite rough. We thought the PC fried, but we apologize for that. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I know we were midway through the Thunder and Mavs, but Look, at the end of the day, we have at least 17 things plugged into this tiny room. So this was bound to happen at some point. We do apologize. And yeah, I think we were. Let's get back to where we were. Right.
I think you were midway talking or asking Gio what he thought on the series. You said Mavs in 6.
Yeah, I was cooking something up.
Yeah.
I'll listen back
It's
to
in
it
there.
when I'm editing. Yeah,
It's in there.
but yeah, essentially, I think this is a good test for OKC. This is it for SGA. If he flops, he's not in any MVP conversation ever again.
Wow.
So, but I'll throw it over to you now, since you are a former Thunder fan, because you are a Russell Westbrook stan, a Russ sexual, I guess.
Okay, I wouldn't go that.
I mean, what do you think's worse?
I'm just a Russ guy.
Just a Russ
Call me
guy?
that, yeah.
He's a Russ.
guy.
Are you a Russ truther, a Russ apologist?
Russ apologist. I'll
Okay.
go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think will happen in this series? Be confident.
I think it comes down to matchups. I think on defense, the Thunder have good defense, especially at their guard positions. SGA, what does he lead the league in steals, and then
Yeah.
Lou Dort is a beast on defense. We know that, and so I think they're gonna I think they'll mess around with the Mavericks a little bit. I think Kyrie Irving doesn't have as good of a series this coming series because of whoever's guarding him, whether it be Lou Dort or SGA.
Right.
And the Thunder are much younger. I think the Clippers were the oldest team in the NBA, so they didn't have the gas. Fourth quarter, they didn't have enough gas or whatever it might be.
Right. Bunch of geezers out
Yeah.
there.
So the Thunder are one of the youngest teams. I think they are the youngest team. Is that correct?
Yeah.
They're the
Yeah.
second youngest team in the
Second,
league.
okay.
I don't know who's first. I'm going to assume it's
Magic?
Detroit, but
Yeah. I
mean,
don't think Detroit is.
I'm going to just, I don't care. We've been through enough tonight. I'm looking it up. I don't fucking care. Like, at some point, I'll have these all in my head, but
What do you have? Who do you have going there?
I think I have a Thunder in 7.
Okay, so he's following the same route as me.
oh, the
Thunder
Spurs have
is-
the youngest team.
Ah.
That doesn't
Okay,
surprise me. Yeah,
yeah.
they're just a bunch of like 19, 20-year-olds and
Yeah.
alien. So
Yeah.
So you have the same thing as me.
Yeah, I think I have Thunder in 7.
the T-Hunter in 7 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have faith in the Thunder. They're hungrier, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think he's following the same model as I was.
I think he just wants the Mavs knocked out
yeah,
because they
I think
eliminated
that too.
Russ.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why. It's okay if it
I don't
is.
hate the Mavs. Luka was still my pick for MVP.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Mavs.
Yeah.
But
All right.
So even though Luka's your MVP, you're thinking SGA is the better player than by advancing in the series.
no, I think they have the better team.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You want
Sorry, someone's phone went off.
Go on D&D, but
Crazy. I turn off D&D as soon as we.
yeah, he started filming.
No, you're good.
Do you have anything else, Gio, to say on that series? Or you want to move forward to the
The ultimate one.
ultimate one? Which
Because I'll let you lead into it whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's get straight into it because this is what I want to talk about.
Yes.
Okay, so what was Nuggets
This is
versus
Nuggets
Timberwolves?
Wolves.
Yes.
Guys, talk to me.
Well, we saw game 1 last night.
yes.
This is going to be an amazing series. We're talking like this is Nets Bucks 2.0. This is going to be it. And look, we saw a lot of interesting things last night, right? I think at 1, the Nuggets are still starting off slow. They haven't really got up from that ever since that San Antonio game at the end of the regular season. They just kind of, I mean, their fans call it trolling, which is basically what they do. They just go out there and troll. I mean, you saw them go down 18-4, and then they went up 25-21 in like a 3-minute span. See, at that point, I thought they were just going to run away. That's when you need to just, like, you throw a rock on the gas pedal and you let that car go as far as it can go. But unfortunately, they didn't. And they kind of just sat around again. They were a little complacent. They got comfortable because, I mean, if you think about it, if you go up, if you come back that quick and that easy, you probably think you could do it again.
Yeah.
But obviously, Minnesota's a lot more disciplined than they were last year.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Edwards is fucking him, bro. I mean,
Yep.
he is quickly becoming like a top 5, top 4 player in the league right now. I mean, he was on my All-NBA first team. And I think you're getting a lot of great minutes from the rest. I mean, Rudy Gobert played an amazing game last night.
yeah.
Getting cooked by Jokic, but that's going to happen. Mike Conley and Cat came alive
I
in the
love
second
Mike.
half.
Yep.
And look, at the end of the day, those guys need to get going. On the Nuggets end, outside of Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. has been unreal these playoffs, especially with everything he's been going through. You need to get more out of the rest of your guys. Like Jamal Murray was held scoreless in the first half. That can't happen. Not for a guy like Jamal Murray. Now, I understand he's hobbled. He's dealing with a calf strain. So he's definitely not playing anywhere close to even 70%, let alone 100. And I think with that, he needs to find himself easier looks because he took a bunch of tough shots in that first half. Just find easy ones, get yourself going, and then you kind of go from there. The bench is going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, Naz Reid came alive in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Peyton Watson only played 6 minutes, which is a bit of a surprise to me. So, look, we'll see what happens. I picked Nuggets in 6. I'm still going to back them.
Really?
Right. Yes. In the Jokic era, I believe they're 7-7 in game ones, and they were 2-6 in game ones going into last year's playoffs. So keep that in mind. And I think out of those game ones they've lost, they've won the majority of them, the series. So Jokic loves to go down after game one and get back into it. So look, I expect a lot of adjustments made from Michael Malone, but at the end of the day, I don't really expect this to be much in-game adjustments because you're not going to stop Ant, and they're not going to stop Jokic. I think with Minnesota, you just got to find ways to just consistently generate offense because they kind of have the same issue the Knicks have where they have the pieces, but they just have the CTE offense every now and then. Yes. You saw when the Nuggets went on that run in the first quarter, the Minnesota was generating nothing. They were just giving themselves stupid looks and they were missing everything. So if Minnesota can just stick to themselves, kind of play their game, I think they'll be fine.
What is their game?
Their game is just kind of letting Ant do his thing. You kind of let Cat stretch the floor. I think their pick and roll game is good. Not that Denver attacks the pick and roll very nicely. Like on Twitter, there's this whole meme. Every time a casual fan says put Jokic in the pick and roll, it's that quote from The Simpsons, like say the line, Bart, because Jokic is good in the pick and roll. He was only bad in it last series just because AD was just unconscious from no matter who was guarding him. But I think with the Nuggets, it's more effort. You need I think this team is better than last year's. Like I said last week, there's a lack of urgency. There's a lack of desperation. There's a lack of hunger. And the Wolves have shown that. And the Wolves are one of the worst clutch teams in the NBA this year. The Nuggets were one of the best. And the Wolves punked them. And look, it was bound to happen. The Nuggets were 20-5 in their last playoff games going into tonight or last night. So I'll leave it there because I want to give you guys stuff to talk about. But I'm going to go with Nuggets. Sorry, Nuggets in 6.
Okay.
If it gets to 7, I don't see the Nuggets losing a game 7 at Ball Arena. I just don't. So Nuggets in 6 is what I will say. I think they bounce back, and I do think they get one in Minnesota. So, what do you think?
Like the Mavs OKC series, this is going to be another 7-game series in favor of the opponent, the Timberwolves. I am backing this team to the very end. I think we saw a very good start to the series yesterday, of course, and I think the momentum is with them, even regardless of going to play in Denver. It's a different style of basketball that they play. Everything seems to be going well. Nothing needs to be changed for what's going on right now. I think Denver is going to push back. They're going to come back. They're going to get those 3 games. I do think that Minnesota will have that edge in a Game 7 scenario. I just feel it. I think it's just too much. I think it's a little too good to be true. If I'm being honest, I could see the Nuggets taking in 7, but I'm just riding with the Timberwolves in 7. I just feel it.
Going with the gut.
Yeah. I
Got to
mean,
go with the gut.
It's going to be, both teams deserve to go through. I think that would have been this matchup should have been the conference finals.
Could we just send the Mavs and Thunder home ahead? Of the schedule?
This should have been the conference finals.
Yeah, it should.
It should not have been a second because it's going to be devastating for either team to go home in the second round. I think I think it's more of a failure for Denver to go home in the second round more than the Timberwolves. Because Denver should have made it to the conference finals regardless.
Well, I mean, they're not healthy right now.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of
And it is
that route.
It is
they
a
were
much
going.
it is a much more stacked West, and
Yeah.
winning one championship is hard enough in the league, let alone 2 in a row.
Yeah.
So I think the first round definitely would have been a failure based on the
Yes.
circumstances and based on Minnesota just being, they're legit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a failure if they,
I don't think it's as much as a failure if they lose to them in the second round. I don't think they were expecting a second round exit going into the playoffs. Just knowing, I mean, obviously the whole West seeding with those top 3 teams was so close. It's a lot of what ifs, but I think T-Wolves pull it out in 7 to set up that series with OKC, and that's going to be another difficult series for both teams. I think more for OKC more than Minnesota. I think Minnesota will have that edge easily. OKC just got the better of the matchups in this conference semifinals.
Can I make a hot take?
Go.
I think this could be a potential NBA Finals matchup in years to come.
Which one?
Nuggets and Timberwolves, because
NBA Finals.
NBA Finals. How so?
let me cook.
Minnesota moved to the East.
If the two new expansion teams come in the West, 2 teams from the West are going to move over to the East.
Oh.
And it's definitely going to be one of New Orleans or Memphis. That's for damn sure. Minnesota could move over.
Yeah, Minnesota's in
That's interesting.
Minnesota's very close to Detroit.
Yeah.
And they're in the East.
So
in Cleveland.
it could happen. It might not. It might be just New Orleans and Memphis. But Minnesota's definitely 2 of those 3 teams will move over to the Eastern Conference, which I think would be really good for the league because the East has just not been good in so long.
Yeah.
It's just been like, we think it's bad this year. The Cavs just dominated the East in the 2010s anyways. So it's like, it got boring. And even still, the East right now is so bad. But that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Knowing like their Western
would
Conference
be.
playoffs history. I mean, this is their second year in a row playing against each other. So, but what do you think, Sir Gio?
I'm going to take it back to the post-game interview that Jokic had, where the reporter asked him about what do you think about the series going forward, right? Something like that. And then Jokic said how there was a lot of bodies that Minnesota had to throw in his direction, and how the one way to stop that or to counteract that is if there was a duplicate of Jokic. This is what Jokic said.
Oh yeah, they asked him about just grabbing rebounds.
Okay, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he likes to joke around, and that's why he's
that didn't seem like a joke to me.
Did he say anything else after?
He said something like,
because typically he'll say something and then he'll actually give the answer.
Okay,
I don't know
he
if
did do that. He did do that.
I think he was just being facetious.
But still, if that's your initial answer, that says a lot to me. That, and that tells me the Timberwolves are getting to Jokic. They're getting whether they're getting into his head or they're just tiring him out. It's one of the two, because he was definitely tired.
I think it's definitely the second one.
What?
He doesn't get phased like that. He'll get tired.
Yeah.
But
tired.
He doesn't allow himself to get flustered.
I also think Jokic is just trying to do too much. When I was watching the game, I saw him dribbling up the ball like he was a point guard.
I think the opposite.
I think they were speeding him up. He's not supposed to go at that speed, if you ask me.
I think it's the opposite. I think he was not being aggressive enough. He was overpassing, especially in the fourth quarter. You need to just put your head down and take charge at some points. Because a lot of times, Jamal Murray wasn't giving you anything in the first half. And Jokic can score at will on Rudy Gobert. You just got to do it. And I just don't think he was being aggressive enough. And now, granted, game 1's a feel-out game.
Yeah.
So I think adjustments will be made. You saw him in the Phoenix series last year get really aggressive in the 2 games in Phoenix when he went off for 42 and 53. So, but yes, you're right. The Wolves definitely...
They got bodies.
Yeah, the Wolves have a bunch of 7-footers to throw at him. But look, I guess it's something we'll see. But I'll let you continue. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I feel like they're going to tire out Jokic as the series wears on, and I think it's going to go 7 games, and I'm going to give it to the Timberwolves as well. And I think Ant just does his thing, and I think Timberwolves got it.
Yeah, it's fair, man. I got to respect it. I think whoever wins this series, in my opinion, wins the whole thing. I think they're the only 2 teams in the league that could take down Boston.
Yeah.
Aside from a fully healthy Miami and an angry Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Because you can never count that out. But I think because we saw it in the regular season matchups, they both played very well against Boston. So
I think this is the one that this series is the hardest one to predict that goes either way. It's going to be close. Like I said, I wish it was conference finals and not second round, but that's just how the seeding worked out this year. And, we're still getting a hell of a series, even though it's not the conference finals.
Absolutely.
So
we'll see. Game 2 is Monday, obviously. And then there's a whole 3 or 4 day break until game 3. So that could prove advantage, disadvantage to whoever. I think definitely it would prove a disadvantage to Minnesota. It would kill some momentum, gives Denver a couple days to get healthier. So, we'll see. I think this will be the best series of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, anything else regarding the second round?
No, let's roll.
All right, let's get into the main part of our show. All right, into the main part of our show. Let me just close that window. Perfect. All right. So, obviously, as you guys can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be giving you guys our X Factors for each of the 8 remaining teams in the 2024 NBA playoffs. Now, for those that don't know what an X Factor is, it's a TV show. But aside from that, obviously, it's a player that can come out of nowhere and make a positive or negative impact on the series. This player will be the reason why their team advances or gets eliminated. And that's important because, the stars will show up, but it's a matter of what the X Factor does. They're so uber important to a series. And, it's something that can really, it could really change the entire, intensity, momentum, magnitude, as you will, of a series. So we each have an X Factor picked for all 8 teams, and we're just going to go in whatever order we fucking feel like, honestly. Yeah. So who wants to go first? And what team would you want to go over to? I'll let you take the way, Gio.
Yeah. Okay. Kick it off, bud.
We can start with the Thunder and Mavs series.
Okay.
I'm going to start on the Thunder side, and I'm going to say Lou Dort is the X Factor for me.
Okay.
Ooh, why?
And I would say because, first of all, defense. He's going to have to play huge on the defensive side of the ball because his matchup is going to be Luka or Kyrie. So he has to play outstanding defense. And in terms of offense, I don't expect too much from him. But if he decides to start knocking down threes, it could get scary for the Mavericks. So on both sides of the ball for Lou Dort, the two-way players are huge for me. So if he steps up on defense, which he has been doing all season, and if he starts knocking down threes as well, continues to play in that role, I think that will be the X Factor for that series for the Thunder.
Okay. I've kind of gone similar to you. I've gone with a different three-point shooter. Okay. That's Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe has been unreal since he got to the Thunder. He was waived from Philly, and he's just been all-around good 3-and-D player for them. Mm-hmm. He's definitely turned out a lot better than anyone had thought of. And I think OKC needs a lot of bench help to beat the Mavericks, especially because they have more depth, because the Mavs are a little depleted right now. But look, I think at the end of the day, you need a spark somewhere, and Lou Dort is going to be just a good role player in this series, but I think you need more than just Lou Dort going off. I think Isaiah Joe is going to be a difference maker in, if OKC can win this series or not. And I definitely think he will definitely force Jason Kidd into some adjustments. I definitely think he's going to go off in one of those early games, whether it's game 1 or 2. And look, we'll see. I think the kid's insane. So,
all right.
We'll see.
I like that.
We're all different players.
Ooh, I like it.
I am going with the unsung hero of this Thunder team. That is J-Dub.
Which one? Is it?
There is 2 J-Dubs. There's
yes.
Jaylin, which is Jaylin, and then there's Jalen. I'm going with Jalen, the one that starts.
Ooh, the second option being an X Factor. Interesting. I'm going to need some explanation on that.
Yeah.
No, I think J-Dub is the third. I think it goes SGA, Chet, then J-Dub. I don't think J-Dub's the second option on that Thunder team.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think you could either way, but J-Dub, another just homegrown player they hit in a draft pick. He's a difference maker for them. I know he, in the fourth game that they took, right? They swept. Who was it? Pelicans. He went off. He was leading a scorer in that game. They interviewed him, and just, from what he was saying and how they play, he's someone that doesn't get a lot of credit for what he does. I think all attention goes to SGA, Chet, J-Dub is of course there. They know, Thunder fans know how important he is to their success. Not being the big name SGA, Chet, he's a start. I was going to put Lou Dort as well for X Factor, but I went with J-Dub. I think both of those guys got to play big roles in the series coming up.
Yeah.
But I think J-Dub being the scorer he is, the rebounder, and just all-around good player that we've seen him play so far since he's been there. He's got to just back it up. He did well in that first series, and now he's got to continue it against the Mavs team with a little bit of an advantage, I think. They don't really have tall big man. Gafford's there, PJ's there, but I think J-Dub has the advantage.
Also the 1 seed, so they should have the advantage.
I think J-Dub will easily score maybe he'll have 1 or 2 30-point games. I don't know. I think he's capable of that.
Okay.
I mean, I think
But-
he's definitely an integral part of the series, but I think he's too involved to be an X factor.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I think Lou
I don't know.
Lou Dort's much more of a because
If you want me to back off, Lou Dort was my second option.
That's fine.
but no, you could pick Jada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
If you expect Jalen to go for 30, that could be an X factor.
Exactly.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think J-Dub is involved. I
Yeah.
was not going to choose an SJ or Chet, but I
Well,
think
clearly not. Yeah.
he is that guy he's the unsung hero. That's exactly how I put it. That one that's not getting the most attention, but he's there. He does his job, and he needs to get, if he goes off in a series, he's going to get that credit.
I think
he's going to.
already has.
I think the other Jalen Williams is the one that's not getting enough
Yeah.
credit.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen him play, but
He's been actually really good in that first round series.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
timely threes, good stops. I mean, look, I think
either or.
Yeah, I
He
think
could go either way.
I think the Thunder starting 5. I think that main 3 of I guess big 3. I mean, I guess if you want to
include J-Dub
of,
as well.
of SGA, Chet, and J-Dub. Yeah, they're the main 3.
They're the 3 best players.
They're the 3 best players on that team by far. And if they're not there, then I don't know where the Thunder will end up. But that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment.
Let's go to the Mavs.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think for the outside of Kyrie and Luka?
Oh, I have the X Factor.
Go for it.
The X Factor is Derek Lively.
Okay.
And this is a player that I was very just when they chose him. I didn't know much about him. But watching him this year, he's going to be their big man of the future. They have a lot of confidence in him. I know he's playing off the bench, but there are games where he shows flashes of athleticism. His rebounding is really good for a rookie for his size. I know Gafford and PJ are over him right now in the rotation, but they're giving him meaningful minutes to just get playoff experience as a rookie. He's getting it. He's not shitting the bed. He's actually putting up good numbers. He's getting boards. He's scoring. But I think for him, with now Kleber out, you're giving him more minutes as a big man. And he's going to have a little bit to handle with Chet and J-Dub.
Could be a good matchup.
I agree.
Chet, 2-7-1 centers going at it.
Yes.
You don't see that every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the key for me.
Gafford also had his injuries in the first series. Who knows what happens with him? Lively would have to step into that 5th spot and start.
Very true.
Right.
2 rookies going at it, both hungry. Lively, watching him play, I would think he's the 3rd big man behind Wemby and Chet that would have been rookie of the year around. I think Lively would have been in close 3rd easily. I don't know. I'm forgetting any other big men that were rookies that were big men besides them 2. But Lively was a pick that I think worked in their favor. I think he's that future center for them. He's going to definitely get better at what he does.
Yeah.
And he'll fill in that role, I think, fairly soon in the coming years.
Yeah.
Ty, what do you think?
I've gone for a different bench player for the Mavs. This is a guy that's been very popular in our drafts lately. I've gone with Derek Jones Jr.
That was my guy, too.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
talk about him.
Talk about a guy with a chip on his shoulder, undrafted, high flyer, big game player. This dude is legit. And I'm really happy to see him finally thriving in a place where I think could be his forever home. We've seen him kind of bounce across the league in a few spots. I think he was last with either Chicago or Miami.
Yeah.
I think he was in both teams,
Yeah.
but Look, I think there's a specific player type. I don't necessarily know how to describe it, but there's a specific player type that just works with Luka Doncic. And it was the same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie. There's just certain guys that play a certain way that it might not be sustainable, but when you play with Luka, he just brings out the absolute best in you, and your games mesh so well. I think Derrick Jones Jr. is that kind of guy, especially as a lob threat. His nickname is Airplane Mode for a reason. So, and look, you saw him absolutely shine against the Los Angeles Clippers. He babied Russ that entire series.
Yeah, Russ he met his match for athleticism. That was scary.
Exactly. I mean, I think Shaedon Sharpe is one of the only players I could say is more athletic than him.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with a top 2, top 3 most athletic player in the NBA.
Yeah.
And look, I'll tell you this, he's going to have some interesting potential posters against Chet Holmgren, against J-Dub, against that entire Thunder roster.
Definitely.
So, no, I'm really happy to see him thriving, and I think he's got a long time in this league. My boy's correct.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you just said.
Anything else to add?
And just to add to that, I would say just like the momentum shift when he comes into the game, I noticed it a lot. Again, in the Clippers series.
Right.
Like when he comes in, you get like emphatic blocks, you get like, of course, the dunks and all that stuff. So just he's just a momentum shifter, and that plays a huge role in playoff games, especially home games. It could be he can he's the type of guy like when those teams are evenly matched. Derrick Jones comes into the game. He's that feather on the scale that tips the scale. That's him, and that's the X factor for me.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
A very ethical take from me.
I'm going to keep it in the West. Let's transition to the other series. Let's go to Wolves Nuggets. I'm going to lead it off. I'm going to go with the team that's leading right now, 1-0 in the series. We mentioned the big stars. Tyler mentioned a major piece to this team that's on the bench right now who did show up in Game 1. He's the 6th man of the year this year. That is New Jersey born. In our backyard,
Yes, sir.
Naz Reid. Naz is a player that
He just forgot.
he embraces his role. He knows he's not starting behind Rudy, Cat, but he's the second behind Rudy, and he is a perfect backup to what Rudy brings to the table. Naz is a player that's been there from the beginning. Stayed around. I don't know if he was there when Rudy got traded over. I think he was. But Naz, 6th man of the year, got it over Malik Monk. Well deserved, I think. It was either him or Malik. Naz got it. Perfectly okay with it. He, big body center, rebounds, has some scoring, blocks.
Got a lot of scoring.
Yeah. And don't forget, he can move. He's not just a big body. He can move.
He's quick.
Yeah. I think great personality for a team. I feel like the fans love him. The team loves him. When he's on the court, they trust him for what he knows is his style of play.
Right.
And he's the perfect guy to lead that second unit with Nikhil. Conley's not in the second unit. I don't know why. Kyle Anderson.
So we know the second unit.
Yeah, the whole second unit. He's that guy. And he showed up in Game 1. Should continue that for the rest of the series and be that option when Rudy and Cat are not on the floor. Naz is there, and he'll just get you whatever you need, whether it's points, boards. I don't know if he has passing. I haven't seen him dish the ball.
Haven't seen much of it.
I don't see a lot of passing, but he's definitely a guy that is there for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
They locked him up, I think, right? This season,
bro. Let me say this: he needs to fire his agent. My God, that contract is horrid.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
he's making like $17 million a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
and this new CBA.
Wow.
Like, bro, he should be making at least 25.
They could restructure, figure something out with that.
Could they?
I think they could.
No,
I don't know.
They cannot.
I don't know.
He can sign an extension when his contract is up.
Yikes.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
They have his bird rights. But look, Nas is also my pick for this. We actually have a sample size with this from the game, and it's not even running the second unit because this dude was nowhere to be seen until the fourth quarter. He banked in a 3, and that was all he needed. And he just completely got hot from there. And look, you sometimes find positives with negatives. Cat got in foul trouble 2 fouls picked up in like
Right.
3 seconds. Nas comes in and just explodes for 16 points. And that was the difference.
Yeah.
If Nas Reed doesn't have that happen, if he misses that 3, Denver wins that game. Because Denver probably would have just ran away and gone to their executions in the fourth quarter. Nas Reed stopped all of that. He put the game to bed by himself. And then obviously Anthony Edwards and Rudy
Closed the
Gobert
deal.
kind of followed suit after that. Yes. You need to turn to bench guys like that at some points to essentially put the game to bed for you. And that's something you're going to see a lot from Nas, and you're going to see it from a lot of just bench players in the playoffs. I mean, we saw it last year a lot. So, look, it's definitely a difference. He was not healthy last year. This is his first year, new contract. Probably why he made not as much money as we thought. But look, at the end of the day, Nas Reed is a difference maker. He is someone that is going to give. He's going to force Mike Malone into some very uncomfortable adjustments, and if they progress past Denver, it's going to be the same thing. He's going to cause havoc in that second unit. But I think what's important for Minnesota is if you get him for a full 48, because they need him for a full 48.
A full 48.
You're not going to get, not a full, obviously not a full 48,
Right,
but you need
but
him for
like
the
as
full
much-
game. Yeah.
right.
Because it's not often you see Denver not play good in the clutch.
Right.
So, but yeah, Nas is also my pick. I agree with you on that. I'm going to assume you agree just because it's Nas Reed.
I love Nas Reed, but that's not my pick.
Ooh, yes, love it.
My pick is Mike Conley.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
is that allowed?
Yeah.
I think it's allowed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to consider the best 3 players: Rudy, Cat, and Edwards.
Right.
So I got Mike Conley will be my X factor, and that's because he is a playoff riser. I love Mike Conley's game. He's just your classic point guard, but he can shoot it so well, especially in the playoffs, and he's just a solid defender
And
overall.
he always plays good against Denver too.
And we need that because Denver's the best team in the league right now. So if
You gave him on
is
the Clippers
X-factor.
already?
Huh?
You said you gave him on the Clippers already?
Yeah, look. Anyone but Denver. That's my mentality right now.
Okay, yeah.
That's my mentality right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just think Mike Conley, we saw it in the second half of the game. He went like 3 for 4 from 3, or 3 for 3 from 3.
Yeah, I think
In
it
the
was
second
3
half.
for 3. After going scoreless in the first half.
Right. So him and Nas, they both turn it on in the second half of the game. So,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Conley's my guy.
17 years in the NBA.
That's insane.
Like,
And he's
I'm
still doing it at a
still
high
doing
level.
it. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you just need to rely on vets.
Yeah.
Mike Conley is the perfect vet for that.
Yeah.
It was a perfect trade last year, especially with Rudy being there also.
Yep.
So
And he does so well under pressure as well.
Exactly.
And he's
You
that
can't
leader.
fold.
He's that veteran leader, and he's just a winner.
That's why I said last week that I still think like Edwards leads by his play. I think Mike Conley
Yeah.
leads by his voice.
Yeah.
Not saying that Edwards doesn't do anything vocally, but Mike Conley's the safety net,
Right.
essentially. So
Right.
yeah, definitely very good.
Yeah.
On the Nuggets end, what are we thinking? Who's that diamond in the rough for them?
I'm still thinking on this
Let's
one.
have you started out the resident Nuggets fan.
I'm not a Nuggets
Yes,
fan.
you are. Don't even lie to the
I'm not
viewers.
a Nuggets fan.
Don't lie to
I
the
am a
viewers.
self-proclaimed depressed Nets fan.
Okay.
It's very rough.
I
over
want to
here.
hear. I don't know. I have a few picks, but I want to hear who he thinks it is.
There's 2 players, and it's
Go ahead.
none of the starting 5 because the
Okay.
starting 5 is going to do what they're going to do.
Okay.
It's the two rookies from last year. Or it's the 2
Ah.
sophomores, Christian Brown and Peyton Watson, and they're guys that are elite defenders, right? I think Peyton Watson's going to be a future DPOY candidate. That's how good I think he is. Christian Brown, he blocked an Edwards 3 last night.
Wow.
So I think he's definitely the only person athletically that can maybe help tire Edwards out a little or make it tough
absolutely
on him.
disagree, but keep going.
I'm not saying he's going to slow him down. I say he's going to make it tougher on him.
He's a little light in the cakes, as Kendrick Perkins likes to put.
Yeah.
Or no, Charles Barkley, actually.
Yeah, Charles Barkley said that.
Yeah.
But I think he would have an easier time guarding him than Aaron Gordon.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. So he's the closest you're going to get outside of KCP and Aaron Gordon. But I think the difference for them, they bring energy. And not, someone like Nas will bring you the points. Someone like Isaiah Joe or J-Dub will bring you the points, or the defensive possessions. They bring the energy, and the rest of the guys feed off of them. So when you see Christian Brown go up for an alley-oop, or you see Peyton Watson block a dunk, that's something that's going to ignite the rest of the players, and it's going to get the crowd involved. And that's, I think, what is needed in home court advantage in the playoffs in the NBA. I think that's super important. So I think essentially that is kind of it. You're not really going to get much else. Like, yeah, you could get maybe something from Reggie Jackson, but I don't really think that'll happen. So I think Christian Brown and Peyton Watson are the guys. Peyton Watson definitely needs more than 6 minutes to make an impact. So, yeah, I'll throw it over to you guys to kind of make your calls. We'll go to you first, Gio.
Sure. I wanted to say Reggie Jackson because it seemed like he went into that game and it felt like he dropped like 30 points, but he didn't. What do you have, like 7?
5.
I don't know. It felt like more.
He'll just have these flurries at the end of the first quarter, even when he was in the Clippers.
It felt like so much more than what it was. But I wanted to say Reggie, but I'm going to go with KCP.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, I think, he was getting a lot of trash thrown at him because of the job he did against AE. Everyone was saying, he can't guard AE and all that stuff. But I think he has something to prove now.
Keep in mind, he's only like 4 days removed from a sprained ankle.
Is he?
He got hurt in Game 5.
Right.
So
okay, so that can definitely have something to do with it.
Right.
Okay. Well, hopefully he gets healthy. Hopefully everything heals up the way it should be, and I think he's your X factor. I think his shooting hasn't been the best. I think if he can,
on and off.
Yeah, it's been on and off. So I think if he can turn that up and continue to do what he does on defense and hold Anthony Edwards to at least just get him. Don't let him get 40.
Well, that's what happened in the regular season. They held him scoreless in the fourth quarter in 2 of their matchups. So, but I think if kind of like with the Lakers with Rui, I feel like if you're tasked with guarding someone unguardable, I don't really care what you do on the offensive end. You need to just lock them down.
Just focus in.
Like I don't know why. You can't ask much. You can't ask Rui to go out there and score 20 points when he's guarding Jokic the entire game. It's impossible. So
yeah.
Your focus needs to be on one end in that sort of sense.
But he's still going to be able to take shots, though.
Yes, he will.
If he can knock down some shots, some timely threes, I think that will be huge for the Nuggets.
Agreed.
So
3-point shooting's been just really down league-wide across the playoffs. It's been really odd.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to get back to that early 90s
Which
ball.
I love, by the way.
That is your era, to be fair.
Let's leave. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead, Anthony.
So to the next
I think both of your players, all 3 actually, should be a part of it, that X-Factor convo. I think I had Braun more than KCP. I think KCP needs definitely to step up defensively. I don't know if he can do much with Ant. It's kind of hard. But I think bench-wise, the Timberwolves bench is doing a lot more than the Nuggets bench from what happened in Game 1. I think Braun, good rookie. They rely on him a lot for, I think, 3-point shooting. He's not a good 3-point shooter?
He's made 1 3 this entire playoffs, and he just made it last
Is he
night.
not a good shooter?
No.
He's gotten better.
He's just not known.
He's
as a
shooting like
shooter.
30-something%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year in the
I
finals,
thought last year was a lot better.
Last year in the finals, he made impacts defensively and just cutting to the rim.
Okay, yeah, because I knew last year he was a big playoff story.
Yes, he was their X factor in the finals for sure.
Yeah, I know from last year, he definitely knows what he's getting into in the playoffs and what they ask of him.
Yes.
And needs to step up, I think, as a main bench piece for them with Peyton Watson. I don't know a lot about his game, but
You're going to love him, I'm telling you.
yeah, I need to watch a little more.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
But I know Braun from last year a lot, and he's another guy that's going to be there long term. He's, got to do a lot more for what they have right now with the Timberwolves. He's definitely going to have his work cut out for him going in. Yeah, I don't know. I need to watch more of Braun to see what he has against this Timberwolves team. I just know from what last year and the season, he's a big part of what they do on the second unit with Reggie, with Peyton. I don't know who their big men off the bench are. I know Zeke Naji.
They're playing small ball 5 Aaron Gordon. And if they're both in foul trouble, they'll throw in DeAndre for 5 minutes.
Yes.
And honestly, that one game he played, he was actually pretty good.
He was good.
It's actually pretty
He's
good.
fresh, man.
But it's the Lakers. So
fresh.
Yeah. I think going back to Braun, Watson, those 2 bench pieces are key for them. But I think Braun especially more because he had that experience last year. I think he knows what they would need from him. And just if he can come close to what he did last year or even make it better, that's, I think, a plus for him and a plus for what Denver wants down the road from him.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they drafted him. He
Yeah.
won a national championship with Kansas.
Right.
So he's
He knows
kind of
how to
used
win.
to it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Because, I mean, I feel like Denver just needs a spark. They just don't have that right now. They're just really flat.
Yeah. They get a little lazy at some points, and he can bring that energy back.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So that was our West X factors. And now let's close it off with the East. So obviously we've got 4 teams here. I think we'll just start it off with, the not as presumably competitive series, the Celtics and the Cavs. So I think we'll kind of ease in with the Celtics because there's not really much for them to do. But however, the X Factor could prove to be vital later on in the playoffs because the Celtics should get to the finals. I think we all can agree on that. So I'll start off with you, Gio. Who is your X Factor for the Boston Celtics?
There is only one answer to this question, and it should be a unanimous.
It should not be Derek White.
I agree. It shouldn't be.
It should not.
Is that what you were thinking?
It should not be. Derek White is
He's a beast, man.
He's one of the main characters. As Flight would say, he's one of the main characters of that team.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine.
So
it's not
That's
the
why
same person.
Since you think it's Derek White, I'll let you cook up with Derek White first.
Not the
You
same.
want to go? You
It's
can go ahead.
not
Go
the
cook
same.
with Derek White. Cook.
Go for Derek
No,
White.
Chef it up, boy.
It's fine.
Go
I have another player.
Go for Derek. No, go for Derek White, sir.
No, because now I'm gonna get flamed for
You're
choosing
not gonna
the
get
star
flamed.
player of the team.
He's not a star player.
I will
Not a star
go.
player.
I will go for the other player. Let me just
It's
pull
okay,
up
bro.
something.
Just go with your gut, bro.
Yeah, go with the gut.
Shh, stop.
If you think it's him.
X Factor in progress.
All right. So while he's looking.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
have it. I forgot his name. It's not Luke Cornett. It's another white guy. Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser, 3-point specialist. He's been really just nice piece along with Peyton Pritchard off the bench for them. Of course, Hauser does not have Pritchard's money that he's making, but he's a guy that's another diamond in the rough that they didn't think they drafted him. I think he was a 10-day contract guy, signed to a contract. He's a guy they rely a lot on shooting. When he's in the game, when I was watching just regular season games for the Celtics, they trust him with the ball to shoot.
Yeah.
They
That's
give
what they
him the
want
ball,
him to do.
and he does that. And I love his game just because he's a 3-point specialist like me. That's all I do. But he seems very confident. I don't think from what regular season wise and even now, just he trusts his shot, and then the guys around him trust him as well. And when he's open, it seems like he's knocked down the majority of the time. I don't think he's had some games here and there, but I think he's had stinkers.
He's had one good playoff game so far
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
So
I think he's a bench guy they need. Their bench depth is outside of Pritchard, him,
they easily have the best bench depth in the league.
Xavier Tillman,
Yeah,
Brissett.
their bench depth is very, very good.
Outstanding.
I don't think a lot of household names we would know, but
No, but you don't
just-
need a build like a super team like that.
No.
You just need to have.
But I
suitable
think
guys.
that bench revolves around Hauser and Pritchard. I think those are the two guys I trust a lot.
That's fair.
And Pritchard, I think, is a part of that star kind of. He's been there a while.
Yeah.
Hauser is more new, but I think they trust him a lot already, and it's good for him and it's good for their team chemistry. And I think he needs to definitely step up and be that guy when Tatum and Brown are on the court and just knock down threes they need against Cleveland. I think going forward they're going to need some big time shots from him.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you want to go next? Or?
Yeah, sure. I just have a question. How many minutes has Pritchard logged
Let me check right
in the
now.
playoffs? Because
Honestly, I haven't watched much of this series.
I haven't really watched it.
So Peyton Pritchard in this series, in game number 1, he played 24 minutes. Game 2, he played 19. Game 3, he played 25. Game 4, he played 18. Game 5, he played 27.
Okay, so he's averaging about
He's like your typical
23,
bench rotational
24.
piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go with Pritchard.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
the way he plays. He's a little guy, but he could, when he gets hot, he can take over a game almost, especially with on a team with all those stars.
Right.
He can be that sixth option that is able to take over a game. That's what the Celtics have.
What a
which
problem
is-
to have.
Right.
Like
He's that type of guy though. So
insane.
he can win you a game and off the bench. I think that will be my X factor. I still think the Celtics win easily, so they don't even need an X factor if you ask me.
Well, they might in the finals.
In the finals, yeah.
That's going to be key.
Oh, we're talking about for
This is
overall?
just X Factors, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, presumably whatever you pick for
talking-
this series will
right.
work in the next round anyways.
Okay.
I was torn between two.
Yeah.
Because obviously we know he's not a top 3 option anymore. I was thinking Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
But I think he's a little too involved. And I think he's going to get more involved as time goes on. Sometimes the X Factor rides in an old guy.
Al
I've gone with Al Horford as
like
my
that.
X Factor.
Love it.
Last year, and even like the previous years probably defensively, he's been unreal.
Yeah.
He's known as the Embiid stopper.
The Giannis stopper, too.
The Giannis stopper. He dunked on Giannis.
Yeah.
So, look, I think there's not much for him to do this series, to be fair. I don't think there's really, I think the Celtics win this with relative ease. But, I mean, you're going up against, if you go up against the Knicks or the Pacers, I think he's definitely going to give, Miles Turner problems or Mitchell Robinson problems. And then if it gets to the finals, we know he can't guard Jokic, but we'll see what he can do if it gets to the point against Gobert or Cat. I think Al Horford's very tough.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like Mike Conley. He's experienced. He's battle-tested. And I think he's going to come up big once again for the Celtics team. People still keep doubting him. I know people want him gone.
He's a dinosaur.
But, yeah.
No, really, though.
I'm not even joking. Bro's pushing 90.
Yeah, I mean,
It's amazing.
he's great. I mean, when he was on the Hawks, he was that guy for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got that 40-year-old man strength.
You know he could speak fluent Spanish?
Yeah.
I did
He's
not-
from DR, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me and
Grew up in DR.
Me and
pretty
Kev
sure.
were watching Celtics highlights a couple weeks ago, and we saw an interview, and he was speaking in Spanish. Kev was floored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause, I didn't know that.
Surprise.
I know,
Yeah, he grew up in DR. I'm
yeah, I know
pretty sure.
I think he's part Brazilian, part Dominican. I
Something
think
like
it could be. It's some
right.
Yeah.
amalgamation of that, but
Okay.
yeah. And then that's pretty much our Celtics. We move into the Cavs. This is where the X Factor is a lot more important because this team's got to do basically whatever they did against the Magic. Don't do that against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go home in 4 games.
Yeah.
So we'll start with you because you take the longest. Who is your Magic X Factor?
I'm stuck between a starter and a bench guy.
I am too. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you and I have the same starter.
Who was it, Garland?
No.
Oh.
That's a star player. I think he's
Well,
supposed
he has not been showing up.
He's been doing anything but, bro.
Right.
from today's game, watching how he played last year for a different team, showed reminiscence of that, and that is Max Strus. I think
Okay.
Max, we saw just an unreal performance in the playoffs last year from him. And I saw flashes of it today. I think he signed for big money, and he needs to live up to that money and be that guy that they want, which is 3-point shooting, and just, have his moments in the playoffs like he did last year
Right.
with Gabe Vincent, who's in Cancun. But both those guys last year earned a big money contract because of what they did in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And Strus needs to do what he did last year a little bit better
But
because he's making that money.
There's no more Heat Dark Magic though. He's not on the team anymore.
I know, but who's to say he can't do it on the Cavs?
I'm not-
I
I'm not saying
understand.
he
Yeah,
can't. Bro hit a half-court game winner.
Yeah,
this
yeah, I
season.
saw
Yeah.
that.
I'm not
It was
saying
like
he can't.
3/4 court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bench player that I had was Karis LeVert.
Bro, why are you taking away my X Factor?
All right, fine. He could talk about
Yeah,
LeVert.
It's okay, it's okay.
He could talk about
Talk
LeVert.
about Karis LeVert.
Yeah, I think LeVert needs
Talk
to
about LeVertical. Nets
Yeah.
legend Karis LeVert.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just think
about LeVert.
they're going to need a lot of offense going up against the Celtics.
Yes.
Especially when the Celtics also have both offense and defense.
They just have everything you need, pretty much.
They
Yeah.
have literally everything. So they need all the offense they can get, and Karis LeVert needs to be Karis LeVert.
You need bubble Karis LeVert.
Bubble
Karis LeVert is one of the greatest
What did
players
he
I've ever
average in the
seen.
bubble?
Oh God, he was dropping like 30 and 40
Yeah,
point
we
games
need
like they
that
were
one.
going out of style.
We need him.
Yeah,
We need him.
Wait, so
don't-
you're a Timberwolves fan and you're a Cavs fan now.
Okay.
I mean, don't discount like Michigan.
I just like
Karis
taking away-
LeVert. I mean, he was in college. He was a dog.
That was
Michigan.
pre-injury though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But
but I'm telling you,
was
this Karis LeVert, like when the Nets had Karis LeVert at like his peak, oh my God,
Yeah.
he was getting all-star shouts.
Yeah, for real.
So-
We need that version of Karis LeVert.
Because
I just like to take out the big teams, the favorites.
yeah, the juggernauts.
Yeah, so
Even-
I'm
but
like
the
underdogs
thing is,
guy.
Minnesota's a big team though.
But who's favored? Nuggets, right?
It's kind of
No,
the Nuggets.
Minnesota
Is
People are
Minnesota.
picking the Nuggets, but people have. Let me put it this way: Jokic went on the greatest playoff run we ever saw, and wasn't even deemed the best player in the world by most people. Anthony Edwards is already getting Michael Jordan edits from Kendrick Perkins. So
Yeah.
but anyways, back to the topic.
Yeah. So yeah, Karis LeVert, he needs to. He's going to put up big time points. While Drew Holiday and Derek White are caught up with Garland and Mitchell guarding them, LeVert needs to play big time. So,
Right. They're going to force one of them to guard him.
Exactly.
So
Did you have the same players as we did?
I was thinking Karis LeVert, but I kind of want to go with a different one
Kawhi.
because the Cavs have not been playing good for a team that advanced at least. There's one player that they signed in the offseason that needs to show up, and that's Georges Niang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a guy that was on Philly for a few years. Never really. He's so weird. He's got like the weirdest dad bod. He could shoot. He can kind of defend.
Yeah.
I don't know, he's an interesting player. He's definitely someone that I've personally thought that can swing a series because he's someone that can ignite. Through. Kind of like how, like they have Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson will kind of get some technical fouls and get in people's faces. Georges Niang kind of does that. He's kind of like Kyle Lowry does this a lot. He's a good grifter. If you have a guy that can grift at a high level, someone like Austin Reeves is another great grifter. Someone like Brandon Pajemski.
Define grifter.
Someone that will do all the dirty work. Someone that will take charges and be physical. Someone like Jose Alvarado is a great grifter. Someone that is just a pest. And he's obviously not as small as any of those guys, but he can be a pest. And look, I think with him, it's just strictly down to his shooting. Because if he's hitting his threes, it just unlocks the offense to a whole other level. And, when you're playing Boston, maybe you lose by 10 instead of by 30. But look, it's a very tall order for Cleveland. I'm not saying they can't do it, but you may have a shot if Georges Niang is hitting his shots. Because at the end of the day, I think LeVert's going to play well. I think Strus is going to play well. I think it just comes down to whoever struggled against the Magic really needs to step it up against Boston. So, and we'll see. Boston without Porzingis might be too consumed with trying to stop Donovan Mitchell. And Georges Niang will probably be left in the corner wide open. So that's something we shall see, I suppose.
Can he knock it down? That's the big question.
Knock it down. So you're guarded differently in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll see if he steps up. Yeah. So you want to segue us into the last series, Gio?
Yeah, let's get into the Knicks and Pacers. Who do we think? What do you want to start off with?
I'm gonna be the last one to talk about the Knicks. I wanna
Okay.
hear what you
All right, so we'll
guys
talk about the
think
Knicks first.
Okay.
You can go first.
All right, sure.
Go for it, because I still need to figure out who I want.
X Factors for the Knicks. Let's see.
We're
I
not.
think I'm gonna have
Let's start off. We're not counting Brunson. We're not counting Josh Hart.
right. No, yeah, we shouldn't count.
No, we should not count. Josh Hart's been. Josh Hart.
Fine, fine.
If we're talking
He's
about
consistently
if we're
doing
talking
his
about consistency over the 6-game series, he's been the most consistent for
yeah.
them. He's been more consistent than Brunson was.
I have another player, then that's fine.
Yeah. So we're not counting him. We're not counting Hart. We're not counting OG.
Right.
No.
Right.
Bench guy.
I think those are the 3 guys that we don't count.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I'm gonna go with McBride.
Okay.
Right. That's how you say his name.
Yeah, Deuce McBride.
Deuce
Miles
McBride.
Deuce.
That's,
Miles Duke.
That's my guy for X Factor of the series. Because here's the thing: when Brunson comes out the game, where is the offense coming from? And I think Deuce needs to step into that role because he's shown that he can do it.
Yep.
He just needs to do it more consistently, especially when Brunson's out of the game. So they're going to need big time minutes from McBride to combat the offense of the Pacers. So that's my X factor for the series for the Knicks.
I like it. I disagree
Okay.
because my X factor, in my opinion, and I know I hate the Knicks with a burning passion, but this guy is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Stands at a whopping 7 foot tall. That is Isaiah Hartenstein.
Uh-huh.
My God, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a testament to just his journey throughout the league. He's playing under guys like Jokic and Zubats, I think really helped him out. And you're seeing now on the Knicks, he's really come into his own. And he's made a difference. And he really gave Embiid and Paul Reed a lot of trouble throughout those 6 games. And I think the offensive glass for the Knicks
Oh, yeah.
when they can't make offense to save their life when Brunson's not on the floor, offensive rebounds are huge because, hey, you never know. Just like in game 2, Dante DiVincenzo is just standing out there wide open. And you're going to find Deuce McBride wide open. And, I think he's going to be really big for them against Indiana. And I'm curious to see how the physical matchup goes between him and Miles Turner. I'm curious to see how it pans out. But I think he's been the unsung hero for the Knicks this entire season. And without Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't even think the Knicks have home court in the first round.
I agree, but that's why I didn't put him as my X-Factor. I think he plays too big of a role.
I don't think he does.
No?
Because Jalen Brunson is your first option. He is your do-it-all scorer. Josh Hart is your right-hand man for Jalen Brunson, a guy that will just be on the glass, do everything that's asked of him. Julius Randle at the time was your first option, if you will, because obviously he's bigger. He could.
Your 1B.
He's more experienced a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Your 1A, 1B. Isaiah Hartenstein's that 4th, 5th, 6th option. He wasn't starting at the beginning of the season. So yeah, I've gone with him.
Yeah.
I don't know if Antoine agrees or not. I'm not sure where his mindset's at. I really hope he didn't pick Bogdanovich because he's not playing. So.
Oh, he's not?
No way.
I'm joking.
Okay.
Both your guys are the right picks.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I think we are expecting a lot more from one than the other. And that is Isaiah Hartenstein. Hartenstein was signed to be the backup to Mitch after we sent Nerlens Noel to Detroit.
I forgot.
He was the backup. They signed
Poor
him
guy,
to
man.
a 3-year deal with $30 million. Worst thing they ever did because he had a great year with us.
He wasn't that bad, yeah.
He was not bad. I loved him. He was
He
great.
just got injured a lot.
He got hurt, and he was not on the court after that contract. That's when they moved his ass out and
Yeah.
shipped with Burks as well.
We had him last year, actually.
Yeah. Hartenstein brought from the Clippers. Could have been great with Russ, but it's okay.
No, it would have been a great combo.
Did he
Just
play?
saying.
He
He
played with
played-
Russ
He
in the
was.
playoffs
In the
last
Rockets,
year. Yeah.
yes.
I'm telling you, bro.
Mitch was the starter going into the season. They signed Mitch to that 4-year deal in the offseason. He was the starter. Mitch always gets injured. It's never a doubt in my mind. Hartenstein steps in. You see the team shift immediately. Hartenstein's mentality, his grit, his body all over the floor. Pause.
Hey, yo.
He dives for the ball. He literally goes for the ball. He's a guy that we love. I love him. I want him to be the starter next year. I want Mitch to get shipped out.
Are you gonna be able? Did he play himself out of New York?
Mitch?
No. Isaiah Hartenstein.
Hartenstein, wow.
No,
Like, you could be running into a Bruce Brown situation. Remember the new CBA.
I don't think he wants that. I think he's gonna stay.
He's not taking a pay cut. I'll tell
Bro,
you that.
he's
No.
taking his money.
Bro, did you
No.
see the contract Indiana gave Bruce Brown?
yeah.
2 years, $44 million. If he gets
Yeah.
a bat, the Knicks can't afford him.
No, he's not a free agent after the year.
He's not. Could he opt out?
No, he's on a 3-year deal.
Okay.
Yeah, he's here for 2 more years. Or 1 more year.
Yeah, let me double check.
Double check that when his contract ends.
I know Brunson can opt out. I just don't know if he can.
but he stepped in. He brings so much energy on the boards, on offense. Just he's a guy that is a spark plug for their team mentally, on the court, off the court. We love him anytime he's involved in a play, and it leads to our favor, whether it's an and one, a dunk. He's
an unrestricted free agent
after this year.
after this year.
Okay, so when was he signed for the 3-year deal? Was it last year or the year before?
I think they only signed him.
Was it a 2-year deal?
He signed. This is his first year on the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
I think they only signed him to a 1-year deal.
Yep.
Okay, I have to look it back.
So I think
Okay.
he might have. This could be his final few games with the Knicks.
We'll see. I'm all for him staying to be the backup, or
He's not-
actually,
he's not a backup.
I want him to be the starter. I do not want Mitch starting. Mitch, I love him. He's a homegrown draft guy, but he's just injured too much. His mentality. He's always
Those feet are cooked.
he's always posting on Instagram about people doubting him, and he's just all in his mind. Because I'm trying to remember when he went down, Noel stepped in for him as well, and he performed like Hartenstein is.
Yeah. Just as good, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want him back. He's definitely a guy they ask for a lot of right now, especially with Mitch being a walking injury. Embiid almost did it to him again.
He did do it to him again.
Yeah.
He left the arena in
Oh
crutches.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, correct. But I Deuce also got to be a guy to step up. But I think we ask more from Hartenstein starting than Deuce coming off the bench.
That's fair. Actually, could you imagine if Hartenstein's the answer to Orlando's big man problem?
Ooh,
That would
that would be amazing.
beautiful.
Imagine an
thing for them.
off-season of Hartenstein.
I would
play.
love to see
That would
what
be cool,
if he
actually.
does. If he does not sign with the Knicks, I would love to see what the contract is, and he deserves every penny of it. I just hope it's the team.
How much money do you think he's getting?
Right? Oh, let me tell you this.
Starting center money?
He's making like $7 million this year, I think.
Yeah. What's he going to get next year?
He got part of the MLE. The thing is, right, it's really weird. He's commanding like 18 million, which is very odd considering Claxton wants 25. Isaiah
Better than
Hartenstein.
Claxton?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think Claxton's a better perimeter defender.
Yeah.
Hartenstein's a better rebounder.
Yeah.
He's tougher.
Yeah.
And he's rose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Hartenstein should command in the 20s. It really depends on how far the Knicks go. So if the Knicks get to the finals, he's definitely gone. But if the Knicks get to the conference finals, they might be able to swing something. It's just really hard because as good as the Brunson contract is, it's going to come back to bite them because it's the easiest opt out ever.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to pay him a giant bag.
Right.
Yeah. So Hartenstein was with us last year. He signed a 2-year, $16 million deal.
Okay, so yeah.
All that money was guaranteed. So last year he played with us, but I don't think he played as much because Mitch was still healthy. This year he's got a bigger role. Now he's going to be free agent.
He wasn't as good last year as he is this year. He's definitely stepped up. He's taken the leap. So
He's going into his age 26 year.
That's why I do think he's played himself out of New York.
He's one of the best bright-skinned players in the league right now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to give him his money.
He might be the only one, actually.
Nah, DiVincenzo is also bright skin.
I think he's a little bit darker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways,
But
let's get to the Pacers.
can I take the floor on this? Because
Go,
I don't want
go.
y'all taking my...
Take
Wait,
it.
I already know
It's
who
all
it's
yours.
going to be.
Let me cook.
I already
Let
know
me
who it's
cook.
going to be, and I have the exact same
Guess it.
player.
This was
Guess
my...
it then.
No, he doesn't even need to guess it. This is my pick of just the entire playoffs.
Okay.
The one role player, the one X-Factor for the entire playoffs is TJ McConnell.
Okay.
It's not even a debate. It's not even a debate. This guy makes a difference. I've wanted him on the Nets for at least 5 years now. And the fact that he's still in Indiana baffles me. There's another guy Philly let go. He was on the team with Embiid and Ben Simmons, and I think he could have made a positive impact with them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't say enough about TJ McConnell. I love his game. Ever since the Arizona days, he's been awesome. And then, I think with the Knicks specifically, I just think he's another one of those grifters he'll make 13 mid-range jumpers in a game if he has to, but he's going to get guys involved. You saw what he did against Milwaukee. He just outsmarts the other team. And I think the Knicks are really going to it's going to be a really fun time seeing him on the floor with them. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of describe it. He's the kind of guy that will bring the energy, bring the play, bring the attitude, bring the toughness.
Yes.
He's the complete package of an X-Factor. And he knows his role. He embraces his role. And he's really going to alleviate a lot of pressure off Tyrese Halliburton. He's going to really make things easier for Siakam, for Miles Turner, for Aaron Nesmith, because he's been playing a lot better this season, compared to his Boston days when he was backing up Tatum and Brown. But look, I think this Indiana team is being highly overlooked by most NBA media. I think this team is definitely very good for the league. And I think TJ McConnell is about to make another imprint on his just capabilities of what he can do. And he's the kind of guy that I think will stay in Indiana for a long time. Wow. So he is my clear X factor. I'll let you talk about TJ McConnell because that was yours as well. So have the floor, sir.
As much as I hate this player currently, it is very hard to not love him, and that is TJ McConnell. A player that I would love to have on my team any day of the week. A guy that throws up triple doubles off the bench like it's nothing. Another Josh Hart type of player.
I'd say double doubles. He's not grabbing 10 boards. He's getting like 10 assists.
He's a triple double.
He's had them, but he's not
Like 4 total in his
He's had.
career.
How many does he have actually?
He's had.
Let's do
I'm
another.
going to guess 6.
Do another Google
in his
search.
Career.
I think more assists than rebounds, of course.
Well, obviously he's a point guard. TJ McConnell,
Triple doubles.
triple doubles, career. 3 triple doubles in his entire career. I'm trying to
Okay.
see. So he had, where do they keep the triple-double stats? Yeah, I'm trying to find them.
Yeah,
Oh, I found it. Okay, so he had one game of, oh, it doesn't show. Hold on.
I just feel like TJ is just like that winning player that you need on your team.
Oh, absolutely.
He just fits that. He's like a culture. He's like a staple in a winning culture. You know, he's like
Yes.
that type of guy.
Well, yeah, when he was in Philly, like he was another just great bench guy.
Yeah.
He
'Cause he does what it takes.
He got a lot of minutes, and then when he signed with Indy, I was like, all right. I don't know how long he's been there for. It's definitely over 4 years, but he embraces his role like similar to Hartenstein. He's always going to be a bench guy, but he
Very
knows-
intelligent.
But
Basketball IQ
Yes.
out the wazoo
he
bars.
scores. He dishes the ball. He's all over the court.
Yep.
He knows
Picks up
what he
full
has
court.
to do,
Mm-hmm.
and he's Hallie's perfect backup.
He's had 2 career triple-doubles.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. 3.
So he has 2. One game he had 18, 10, and 12, and another game he had 10, 10, and 11.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you know he'll
Yeah.
scrape those. Like it's almost like the triple doubles that Royce O'Neal or Josh Hart will get. Just kind
Yeah.
of like a very bare minimum triple double across the board, but it's
Yeah.
huge impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Another part of that deep indie bench, like I was saying, and he's a guy that's going to punish us a lot. I feel like
Yeah,
when
fun with
we're
him, bro.
when we're playing our second rotation guys, he's going to give us. I know Knicks fans are probably not going to like him at the Garden. I already have a feeling because he talks. So
He's
you know,
probably one of those guys. Like,
He's already
don't
beat-
expect
him and
trash
Josh
talk.
him and
They're
Josh
already
Hart
beefing,
are
bro.
already
Yeah.
beefing on social media.
I love it.
Before games even started. And I know Knicks fans are probably seeing that and they're going to boo the hell out of him. And he's probably going to give us some moments where he's going to shut us all up. So
Can't wait.
we'll see.
Wow.
But I don't know. I don't know who you're going with. It's probably not the same player.
You know, I would go with TJ, but I just like Isaiah Jackson.
I was
Yeah.
literally going to say it's Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, I like him way too much.
Has he been playing consistent minutes though?
I don't care. I don't care.
Let's see.
Let me know though.
Isaiah Jackson
notice.
in the past few games. Yeah, I mean he
No.
played garbage time in the first. He played garbage time in the first like games 3 and 4. Played 9 minutes in game 5, and then he played 10 minutes in game 6.
Yeah.
So
All right, well, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna shout out Isaiah Jackson.
Isaiah Jackson, go for
Isaiah
it.
Jackson.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout him out. Give
of
him
the-
minutes, please.
One of the only players to block a Wemby dunk this year.
Wow.
Fun fact.
I didn't actually know that.
So it was a beautiful block
Okay.
right at the beginning of the season. I don't know why I remember it so much, but I do.
Yeah. But yeah, no, shout out to him. Pacers, give him minutes if you guys want to win the series.
Give him a
He's
supermax.
big time. Give him the supermax. But yeah, that's me.
right.
That's me.
Yeah. Obviously, if you guys have any disagreements or if you guys have any other X factors, let us know in the comments below. We read all the comments or any messages that you guys send. So,
If none of us chose a coach as an X factor, which is interesting.
I mean, a coach is just gonna coach.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
The coaching doesn't really matter in the second
and
round as much as it
none of
does.
us gave any negative ones.
George's Niang, for me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fair.
He'll be a negative X factor for the Cavs, I think. But like, I think it comes down to like coaching matters, obviously, but I think in the conference finals and the NBA finals, it matters a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if you kind of just look at just the scope of everything, obviously, like we all know that JB Bickerstaff and Joe Mazzulla are both coaching for their jobs right now. We know that Rick Carlisle is fantastic at what he does. We know Tom Thibodeau is fantastic at what he does. They're fine. On the West End, Chris Finch and Mike Malone are not going anywhere. And then Mark Dagnall just got Coach of the Year. He's fine. And
Jason Kidd.
And Jason Kidd's also coaching for a job. So I don't necessarily think they'll be an X factor because whatever the product is on the floor, they'll either be praised or they'll be blamed. Right. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And the coach is also on the front line. Yeah. So I think that kind of equates to the same thing as a star, you know. So, but yeah, anything else on the X Factor things?
No.
All
right.
set.
Well, that brings us to the end of our 4th episode. I can't believe we've already recorded 4 of these. This is actually wild. We've actually completed 1 full month technically of podcasts, which is pretty dope. Last Wednesday we just hit our 50th short. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are grinding through it too. Like
All
this has
right.
not been easy. It's 12:17 right now.
Yeah.
12:17 at night. These two got work early out in the morning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we would have finished this earlier, but unfortunately, we did
course.
lose power.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Gio,
Yeah.
made it to the end of the video. For those that are still with the flow of the video, give them one word to comment.
Ooh.
We got to call this something like we got to name it at some point.
No.
It'll come.
Yeah, it'll pause.
I have the perfect word.
What?
Comment Cancun.
Okay.
Cancun. Yeah.
Cancun it is.
Cancun it is.
And also Red Bull does not give you wings. So
Exactly,
just wanted to
yeah.
make that clear.
So CC, or you could put CC for comment Cancun.
No, just do Cancun.
Cancun.
Yeah.
Just the word
Cancun.
Cancun. Comment it down below if you're still with the flow of the video. That's how we know when the real ones are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we got obviously second round really kicks into action 2 days ago, I guess, because this goes out on Wednesday. So I think next week's episode will kind of be, I guess, early impressions from the first round. We'll see what happens with Frank Vogel. We know his job is still up in the air. We obviously know the Lakers pulled the trigger on Darvin Ham. And yeah, we'll see what else happens throughout the league. I don't really expect much, to be honest. So I guess it'll just be series if any injuries happen. And we'll see what happens with Frank Vogel. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Vogel is not
No,
fired.
on Sunday, I think on Sunday, no. Ooh, on Saturday, mid-recording, the NBA draft lottery will be going on.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What time is that?
I think it's at it's midway. It's like right before the TNT game kicks off, so at like 7 o'clock.
Okay.
We will know who has picks 1 through 14 in the 2024 NBA draft. So maybe mid-recording, we can maybe we'll like take a break midway through, because usually we record these on Sundays, but because Mother's Day is next Sunday,
Yeah.
we are recording this. We're going to record it on Saturday. So the draft lottery, we'll do a little preview of it maybe at the beginning of the episode, and then we'll kind of react to it live while we're recording. So that could be something new we could do.
That would be
Yeah.
fire.
So-
That would be fire. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the Spurs go back to back. Maybe the Raptors make a big leap. Hopefully, the Nets don't give a top 4 pick to the Rockets. Otherwise, I think I'll be in a state of absolute piss poor.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shall see. So yeah, we appreciate you guys for obviously for tuning in, for listening. We've obviously really been appreciating the support. You know, we haven't asked. It's just been out of the kindness of everyone's heart. And you know, at the end of the day, that's just, we're beyond grateful. So
Yeah.
if you guys are new on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. Turn on the bell, obviously, so you don't miss when we upload. If you're on Spotify, at some point Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. It goes a long way. Follow us on our socials. My God, I can't speak. It's too late. Both our personal ones and the pod ones. Obviously, we upload daily on the pod socials. And anything else for you guys?
Nah.
I gotta go to
So-
my bed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
we hope you guys enjoyed. We love y'all. And as per usual, we'll see you next Wednesday.